stuff. Hello. Okay, let me get you so they can hear you as well. All right, testing. You guys, let me know the volume.
Hey everyone.
Everybody gets double ASMR now. It's gonna be the fun part.
I love that.
The double deep voices. So how are you? How's being awake?
Challenging. I'm on 2 hours right now, and I just drank coffee on an empty stomach.
Oh, that's gonna feel good in like 10 minutes. Gonna get reactive.
Well, it's been about, I think, 20 minutes at this point, so hopefully it won't be too bad.
Yeah, I'm also on 2 hours. I literally have coffee in front of me that I'm like halfway into. Someone said that you should be on a coffee commercial with your voice. I think that's perfect, actually. We should get you in a coffee commercial.
Well, I mean, I used to do voice acting before this, so I didn't really do a lot of fun stuff. It was mostly like e-learning, and I did do local advertisements and some other stuff like that.
You know, I never would have guessed. With a voice like that, you're like required to do voice acting, like, or some sort of work with your voice. Like, I feel like people will just push you into it even if you don't want to.
I mean, yeah, you do just kind of get forced into that because you hear it from everyone.
You just have no choice.
But I mean, it's fun. It's fun. It's a lot of fun.
It is fun. Being blessed with a deep voice is one of those things where it's like, I mean, I got to do something with it, and like, you never like the sound of your own voice, but everyone tells you how much they like it. That's always one of those mental things.
I don't know. I've never had that problem. I mean, I don't want to sound egotistical, but I've never had like myself that issue. However, when I would do voice acting for characters, I would very rarely impress myself, like manage to impress myself.
Like you would listen to it and you're like, it's okay.
Yeah, it's like okay. There's a few things I did that I really liked. I did a Quake. Um, I did a bunch of voice lines for a Quake announcer at some point, and I was like, "Wow, that actually sounds really good."
That
And that
sounds
was
so
very
fitting.
sentimental to me because I really liked Quake back in the day.
That sounds so like you as the Quake announcer sounds like perfect. Like perfect. Oh my god. Okay.
I mean, I loved Quake so much as a kid.
I played so much Quake when I was younger. It was like insane. Like I broke like 3 mouses on accident just turning the sensitivity, like just messing with the sensitivity, playing a bunch of like all sorts of stuff. Quake, don't say
Oh
Quake.
yeah, things are a lot different back then.
Unreal Tournament announcer. Yeah, let's see here. What we got? So I have a lovely list of questions to kind of go through. Most of these are submitted by like the community. Source some nice questions.
Okay, sounds
And
fun.
so first off, if before we start on that, how about could you go ahead and introduce yourself? As most people may not know you yet.
Sure thing. Hey everyone, this is me, Dr. Drew. You may know me if you've been in the herosiege Discord. Um, I'm the community manager for Panaguard Studios. I tend to hang out in public voice channels a lot and play with people all the time. So if you hang out in there, you're definitely going to see me. Even before I worked at Panaguard Studios.
Public voice. If you guys want to play games with Drew, he will be hanging out in there ready to serenade you
Oh
in
yeah,
voice chat.
oh yeah, all the time. I mean, I used to like, I was in there on launch days, like probably at least 12 hours a day, just hanging out and playing. The game Hero Siege is so fun with other people. That's like its greatest quality to me.
I've always said that about Hero Siege. It has hands down the best multiplayer of an ARPG.
Oh yeah, oh yeah.
All right. Well, let's see here. So, first off, could you describe your role at Pass? You know, I feel like I'm hitting the meme of like, what do you do here? But like, what is your role
Yeah.
at Pass as the CM?
So basically, my main thing is that I am the gateway to the developers. So like when people have issues and stuff, I'm the one that looks at everything, and I'll like filter out the information and get the valuable things from the community, like problems, things like that. And then I kind of take that internally. I'm always on the social media, talking to people, generating teasers, looking at the Steam reviews, uh, kind of just overall trying to improve the developer player reputation. I also do a lot of design. I wrote a lot of the new Ether nodes for season 10. Um, I also designed a few of the new incarnation nodes. Um, I just kind of have a hand in design in general. I also did the voice acting and audio editing for Cthulhu, and I'll probably be working on the sound design in the future.
Say that's one thing a lot of people. I knew that because someone keyed me in on it, but a lot of people don't know. Yeah, Drew is Cthulhu, so Cthulhu has the Giga Chad voice. So just for everyone.
Unfortunately, yeah, that so everyone says it's really good, but when I hear it myself, I think it's really scuffed because I don't currently have a good recording setup. Like I'm actually having to hold my microphone. It's so scuffed, and there's a lot of background noise. And if I had like my setup at home and I was able to record, it would sound so much better.
Okay, we need to send you a recording set for that like immediately, so you can voice more stuff in the game.
Yeah, I mean, it's not super hard to put together something, but I don't really have a lot of room, and you can probably hear the echo behind me.
It's soft. It's not like an echo. It's just like a very soft sound. It's like the generic sound of like almost a hum. So it's not like too bad or distracting. Like it's pretty chill.
Yeah, it was just enough to where you can't really hear it in the recordings. Like it's good enough, you know.
So I mean, I didn't hear it in the recordings. The recording sounds good. Everybody seemed to really like Cthulhu. It hit. Like I even had the bass of it hits just right. I even had it as the intro in one of my videos because if you hit that bass just right when you open that video, it is like super like loud and you're like, oh shit. Like it locks you in. You're like, what is happening?
That's pretty awesome.
Yeah, it's pretty good. Like I enjoyed it. So
I actually think I forgot to add bass in the sound editing.
You probably actually break a few people's audio rigs if you added bass into that sound editing at this point.
I really appreciate the kind words. It makes me feel quite good. I'm glad people like it so much.
Yeah, everybody really liked that. It's got that good like intimidating like heavy volume to it.
Everyone likes vocal fry. Vocal fry is OP.
It is OP. Okay, so yeah, just CM. You're so not. It's interesting too because you're the CM, which obviously, as you said, you're kind of the gateway between the players and the developers, kind of bridging that gap in communication. But you have your hand in design, which is kind of cool. Like that kind of gives players a good confidence that what they say to you could lead to a lot, in the end of the string of communication.
Yeah, I mean, realistically, I kind of want to do everything.
I mean,
like, hopefully at some point I'll be able to help with balance. I do collaborate with Fuma on item designs and stuff like that. I don't know. I pretty much do everything that isn't programming.
That's funny. I mean,
like programming and art.
Like that kind of stuff is very important in game design. There's a lot of design stuff that's very important. So the following question of that actually is, so how long have you been working there? Because I know one of the reasons I wanted people to get to know you is you haven't been there a super long time, relatively new. And how has it been since you started?
I think I've been here for about 2.5 months so far. And honestly, it's been the best experience I've ever had with with a consistent job, if you know what I mean, like not self-employed. I mean, I'm technically a contractor, but you know what I mean? Like you go work like a corporate job, and it's very, it's
Very
just
nine to
not it.
five
You know what I
punch
mean?
in. Yeah,
Yeah,
the corpo
yeah, and
feel. Yeah.
right. No, everyone is super friendly. Everyone is really reliable. I couldn't find anything bad to say about anyone if I tried. Anytime I've ever needed something or asked someone something, they've been very friendly and reliable. I spend a lot of my time hanging out with Fuma, and because we're not at the office, we're contractors, so we hang out on Discord and we kind of collaborate, working on stuff that we have some overlap with. Like if I'm about to put out a teaser, I'll be like, Fuma, what item do you think I should put out? And then he'll talk to me about that, and then I'll put together one and send it to him and see what he thinks. I don't know. It's just a lot of fun. At the end of the day, we're all just a bunch of guys having fun making a video game.
I feel like a lot of the best games are made like that. It's because I know you and Fuma are like your own contractors, like your own people. Like you guys are obviously not there with them. I think in Finland, like so you guys are often in your own places, fully remote, like working with them
Yeah.
digitally, which is really cool. It's good to see them outsource like that because there's a lot of talent as we've seen with like Fuma, and that's like that falls up to like so you've been there about 2 months. So what brought you to working with them? Because I know like Fuma was just a Hero Siege player, and he eventually moved up to
Mm.
being that. So what got you into this? Because I assume you played the game before, even before this.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. I was a Hero Siege player. So my story is I became really close friends with Elias a few years ago. Um, I talked to him over the years, and I always thought Elias was really entertaining, and I liked him. And I remember he was showcasing Butcher, the new like what the teasers for Butcher, and he didn't have a voice actor yet. And I'm like, this is my guy. I want to voice this guy.
Hell yeah, butcher voice.
Unfortunately, I was a little too like I didn't really want to bother Elias, and I sent him my voice reel, and I didn't really follow up, and he's super busy, so I didn't want to bother him over it, and unfortunately, I didn't get to voice Butcher. But I mean, it's okay. I got I
You got to
actually
voice
ended
something
up
else.
yeah, I mean he was like we can voice let's get some bosses done. I remember he said that to me, and I was like, wow, that sounds awesome. I didn't end up voicing those bosses. I mean, I do now, but I mean, in the future, I could probably redo some of the voice acting for like Reaper and Satan and stuff.
Is there actually like a someone brought this up actually when we were talking about Cthulhu and you're saying like, oh, some of the background noise is what you're worried
Mhm.
about. Is there a thought process where you'd like to like revoice some of the voice lines in the game to give them a bit
Oh
more
yeah,
modern?
oh yeah. So for sure, Cthulhu at some point. Just because it's not up to my personal standards. I mean, whatever the guys want me to do, whatever Elias wants me to do, of course I'll do it. Maybe the really old ones like Viking.
I've had the voices on for a while, but whenever I turn them on, like I remember like how old a lot of these voices actually sound and like how old they are, and I'm
Yeah,
just
yeah.
like, oh damn.
In a way, it's kind of sentimental because it's kind of like how long ago was that recorded?
Yeah, it's been
So
it's been what, like 10 years?
in a way, I wouldn't really want to replace them because it's so sentimental. It's like this is from the game from like 12 years ago or something. So it's kind of cool in its own way. I mean, sure, the recordings are old and they might not sound high quality, but it's really sentimental.
Which is what a lot of people want. Like they like that aspect that like, because there's a lot of people who've played this game for literally since its like first iteration prior to what it is now, who
Yeah,
they
yeah,
probably have some kind of attachment to that, which you don't want to take
yeah.
that
So
away.
right, yeah. So I don't know. And I like a lot of the old voice actors. Like, I really like Plague Doctor. I think he's really funny. Um, I don't know. If of course, if they want me to redo the voice lines, I would. But I do feel like there's value in that sentiment of this is how far we've come. You know?
Yeah, you could probably hear some of the audio differences actually at this point if you were to like
Oh
listen to
yeah.
newer ones to older
Oh yeah.
ones.
Yeah yeah. So going back to meeting Elias, yeah, unfortunately, I wasn't annoying enough about the butcher voice lines. Someone else got it, but Elias ended up becoming a very close friend of mine, and we played a ton of games together. A lot of games in the genre. Path of Exile. I played Path of Exile with him, and his first build ever was Flicker. We had a lot of fun. We had a lot
Oh
of fun that season. I
jeez.
can't remember. Yeah, it was insane. I put together some really tanky Flicker build using I don't know. It just had a ton of defensive layers, so you could actually play it without getting owned, and you don't have to spend a million divines on crazy like what was that one build? You're probably familiar with this. There's like a flicker build that uses a heist base, and it has like
Oh, the sword with it's
nine
like a six
mods.
links,
And
the six link
yeah,
sword.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. I
yeah.
didn't want to do that, so I was like, I wanted to do something realistic. So he played Flicker, and he had a lot of fun. We had a lot of fun in general that season. We were running like shrines and breach, just filling the map with breaches. He was flying around the map, teleporting. I can't remember what I was playing, but yeah, it was a great time. Anyways, so a while later, a long while later, Elias wanted a community manager, and so I guess we felt like I could probably help the player base in that aspect. So I was more than happy to join because I was already familiar with everyone and pretty friendly with everyone. To me, as a child, I've always dreamt of working on a game similar to Diablo 2, and I feel like
Mm.
Hero Siege is the closest game in the genre that carries the spirit of the original Diablo games. So like Diablo 1 and 2.
That definitely carries over. That's perfect. Yeah, that's like essentially your childhood dream personified
Oh
in
yeah.
the pixel
Oh
art top
yeah.
down version. That's kind of the spiritual successor to it in a lot of ways that people would describe it.
Um I would like to add something. Um when I might come off as like some kind of Diablo 2 guy, but I know there's a lot of people that don't like Diablo 2. It's a really old game. It's got a lot of archaic designs. Don't be worried that I'm like some kind of purist that's going to design the game into being something more like Diablo 2. A lot of things in Diablo 2 are simply there just because it was like that in Dungeons and Dragons, and it makes no sense. Like accuracy rating being capped at effectively 95%,
Uh,
only being able to dodge when you walk. It's just full of silly things.
Stamina as you run around.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, there's things that are really cool that I miss, excuse me, from Diablo 2. Like rune words, I love rune words. I wish other games took that design. And I'm really glad they exist in Hero Siege because I think they're a lot of fun. They add a lot of rewards
Mm,
and a lot of value to non magic items.
I agree.
And
Funny
in a
funny
way,
story about that actually.
really, I'd like to hear
Uh,
it.
rune words are the reason I started playing Hero Siege because when I was looking for a game
Oh,
to play, I was scrolling through Steam with a friend of mine, just kind of like bored because we were between games, not playing WoW like we always did. And I saw Hero Siege, and I'm like, okay, what's this game? What is this? And I'm looking at it, and I'm like, can't really tell, what this game is like. And I pulled up some screenshots, and I saw the rune words, and I saw Enigma, and I was like, oh my god, and I saw the plus all skills on it, and I
Oh,
was like,
that's so
it's like
awesome.
Diablo, and I downloaded it immediately.
There it is.
Yeah, instant download, and I just started playing it.
And the team Herosiege just kind of expanded on that because I don't think no, in Diablo 2, you can only get like superior items. We roll a mod on normal bases, which will translate to the rune word. And I think that does quite a bit for interesting bases.
But yeah, you
Because
do.
in Diablo 2, you're just looking for like superior or ethereal for your merc.
Yeah, and you guys also have things like, not only do you have things where it's like, oh, you could get like a plus skills, all skills chest, or plus elemental skill helm, but you guys have like quantum and astral bases now.
Right, yeah. Yeah.
I should pulled one up in my inventory because I think I have one.
Quantum is a lot of fun. I think you know what you reminded me. I think we could use a way to like target farm quantum bases in the future or something, because those bases are really fun.
Okay, that would be an interesting thing, if we move
Yeah,
to the
yeah.
like the mechanical side of like maybe the ether tree, be like what mechanic feels undervalued, maybe we put quantum bases there. Feels like
We
a good
give
idea.
players a way to farm quantum bases using like some kind of mechanic. Yeah, I like stuff like that. If you look at my Ether tree nodes for season 10, you'll see a lot of. I tried to put a specific reward on every part, every different mechanic. So, like with dungeons, I did gold and satanic dice. With Eternal Battleground, I did Gypsy's Prophecy. There's a new part of the Ether tree, which I don't know if it's been shown yet, but it has to do with the Abomination chests. And I have something in there for Blacksmith's Mallets.
Yeah, we did
And
see a screenshot of that got posted at one point.
oh, yeah. And of course, the way to farm Infernal Codex is with Shadow Zone. Yeah. I thought that was going to be really fun. That's probably what I'm going to be doing. I'm going to be farming codexes.
Yeah, the codex pages, especially now that you can upgrade codexes from what it said in the patch notes, so like those are going to be really valuable and cool.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, and codexes, I mean, they're always valuable in trade. I mean, pages are going to be really valuable too because people are going to want to upgrade their codex. You're right.
Yeah,
And my design philosophy was that if you look on the node, it has like 75% reduced dimensional shard drop rates. So obviously, we have to put it somewhere where codexes don't really interact with. So it was going to be in the shadow zone. But if we do that, and I put that node there, then the dimensional shards are going to tank like crazy. So the node basically sacrifices dimensional shard drops to have a chance to convert them into codex pages.
yeah, because you don't want a chance for too many of the shards to drop as well, because then you're gonna have a situation where
Right,
Reaper items
right.
become basically like
Yeah, Reaper's
valueless
just
because everybody's
worthless.
there,
Yeah.
which is good design to keep the value of Reaper while also giving something else to do in the zone. It's a good zone to farm too. It's high monster level. There's always a vendor there to buy from.
Yeah. And I think, if I remember correctly, the minor nodes leading to that, I think, increase the chance for monsters to be spawned as a higher rarity. So that's actually quite
Oh,
strong. A lot of the minor nodes on this new Ether tree are also very strong.
that's interesting because we've seen a lot of like spoiler shots of the ether tree. And we've seen a lot of the big nodes, but a lot of the small nodes, like, because the tree, a lot of the art we see on it looks like a lot. It's a lot prettier. It's more fleshed out, and a lot of those small nodes look more fleshed out. There's icons we've never seen, and we're just
Oh,
like,
Elias
oh,
is a machine, man.
oh yeah,
When I
yeah,
was
he is.
writing the design document for him, he made those nodes so fast that I was having trouble keeping up with him, just writing them down. And he was doing the art too. I remember I wrote like 2,000 words or something, and then I sent it to him, and I woke up, and he sent me a message like 4 hours after I went to bed, saying that they were done. I was like, Oh my god, man. Slow down.
He
It
does
was
that.
crazy.
Yeah.
He's a machine. He turns design documents into code.
It's always funny when I talk to him because we'll talk about something. I think back when we like theorized like how we could like how codexes could be made like more fair between like group and solo play. And like I pitched
Yeah.
something to him and I'm like, I don't even know if this is possible. And he's like, I don't know if that's possible. And then 10 minutes later, he's like, I figured it out and already coded it. And I'm like, okay, cool. Yeah.
It's so funny, yeah.
Yeah, he did the same thing when he
It's
was
so
on my
funny.
stream last season. He was like, we were literally sitting here in game, and I was like, yeah, the bees on Profit are doing this thing, and he's like, oh, that's this texture on this page displaying like this. Let me change it, and he like fixed it live, and I was like, just okay, all right, because he knows right away. It's
Yeah,
funny too
it's
because
crazy.
you're
He knows the
you're
game
younger.
like the back of his hand, and he's very talented with programming. Very fast. I mean, he does a lot more than programming. He also does a lot of the art, and he polishes the art too.
Yeah, a lot of his art that he's shown, he has a really good mind for like art and design. It's funny too because like the next question on our list is actually something we've already been talking about, which I was going to ask you like as community manager, how much is your input taken into account for changes to the game, which you're kind of talking about already. So it sounds like not
Mhm.
only do you have a direct conversation with Fuma and work with him a lot on items, which I'm curious to hear more about, but like also it sounds like you have a lot of input on like design and philosophy for the game, especially like the ether tree is a big part of it. So it sounds like you have a lot
Yeah.
of input.
Um, Quite a bit. Yeah, I have a lot to do with it. I played this game and every game in the genre very religiously, so I have a lot of input and feedback, and I do my best to consider the game from every viewpoint, not just as the hardcore grinder, because I'm in Discord playing the game with the dads that have 500 kids and 200 wives that only have like 38 milliseconds to play every week. So I really try to look at it from every perspective and make it more fun for everyone. Like a lot of the other tree stuff, the way I look at it from a solo self found Odyssey perspective because if farming is fun for Odyssey, it'll be fun for trade. Now, there's things you have to do to account for the market, but if your game is fun like offline single player and farming feels good, it's going to feel good for everyone.
Yeah. That's a good way to look at it too because there's so much of that a lot of people miss that in the nuance of when you design mechanics for a game is knowing how much of your audience plays the game completely differently. Wasn't it PoE that said like 80% of their player base doesn't reach maps or something crazy like that?
I would say like probably like 95% doesn't reach maps, some crazy number like that. I think most people like stop at like Hillock or something.
Oh my god. Log in, fight Hillock, die, and then just uninstall again.
There's a lot of nuance to that because I don't know if they're considering things like bots and like alt accounts and stuff like that. So um, I'd say it's a little more complicated. I'm not really sure myself.
It's probably a little more nuanced to that because the number sounds like you tell your average PoE player, like one of us, like, hey, 90% of people don't reach maps, and it's just like, huh?
Well, they don't. Yeah, they don't understand that. Yeah, so few people actually grind out stuff in game, um, and when you look at a game's concurrent player count, you always have to consider it takes a lot of unique players to get those concurrent player counts. Like I think Elias said the other day, on Steam we had 16K. In game, I saw we had 60K, and total unique was like 300K, somewhere around there, like for the day. So that's like 300,000 people launching Hero Siege at least once.
Yeah, it's a big number. It's a lot of people, and the variation of lives in that audience is so big to
Yeah,
consider that it's very hard to tighten up a game that please like you. It's impossible to tighten up a game to please all of those people, but it's something
it
that
really
you is
is.
so hard to consider because you're just like, okay, how does Giga Blaster 9000 feel about this mechanic, and how does
Right,
Johnny 10
yeah.
Wives 30 Kids feel about this mechanic?
Yeah, so The way I think about it is nobody starts as a hardcore grinder. A few people do, and they're usually familiar with the genre. It's like if you played PoE and you go play herosiege, obviously you're gonna have a good idea of what you want to do. But the idea is to convert the casuals into the hardcore grinders. So you have to have a good experience, like new player experience, and then you have to get them addicted to the in-game loop. And so everything works together. And obviously, you can't balance the game around someone who only plays like an hour a day, but you also shouldn't balance it around someone who plays like a streamer, for example. You can't balance it around a streamer.
100%, because they
So
have
it's
infinite time to play.
yeah,
In theory.
yeah. They play the game for money, effectively, and it's like, I mean, I hope that doesn't sound shallow.
No, I mean that's
But
at the end of the day, there's a lot of streamers that play games for passion, but like the majority, especially if you're a full time streamer, like you literally play with the analytics of money in mind.
yeah, I see what you mean. I guess a better way I could word this is it's part of their income to play these games.
So
So
the
in Path of
incentive is
Exile,
different than just like I want to play the
right?
game for
Yeah,
fun, and so they're gonna play it
it's
more
kind
and
of their
engage with it.
job to play. So they're going to be just like pumping out 14 hours a day. I mean, streamers go hard. It's not a normal job like 9 to 5. A lot of streamers they will play for like 14 hours or more.
Yeah, who
Especially
would do
during
that?
league launch. I think you told me you play like 20 hours a day during league launch, or maybe you don't even sleep at all.
I definitely put in like 20 at minimum it's 20 hours on the first day. And that's only if I'm like about to pass out. Otherwise, yeah, I think season 7 I put 28 hours in straight on launch, and then I just like woke up 4 hours later and kept going.
That's crazy.
You
I
can't
don't
balance
think
around
I've
that.
ever. Yeah, I mean, if you balanced around that, I think the game would be really unplayable. For
It would be
yeah,
terrible.
no,
Even
yeah,
the
it would
people
be
who play 20
horrible.
hours wouldn't enjoy it at that point.
It would be so bad. I feel like a lot of games have probably made that mistake. Maybe they look at the top end a little too much. Um, anyway, given my viewpoints on player feedback, I'm able to filter out stuff that's like people basically saying I want ice cream with every meal, and so then I forward it to the developers, um, and yeah,
It helps too because
I
you
have
have
quite a
that
bit of
history.
say because I see like everything.
Yeah, you not only does it seem like because like the job is CM, you're that bridge, but you in a way are also that filter. You know, you're filtering out things that they
Yeah,
don't need to hear, and if you have that hand in the design, you're also filtering out the buff my class,
right, right.
and you're
Yeah,
getting the
it's
hey, this is
like
a systemic problem with the game, and you're like, oh, this is good feedback. So you help get that information across to them, and then you have a hand in it because you understand the genre because you're passionate about it and you play it.
right. Yeah, it's a lot of people will be very sad and they'll be complaining they're not dropping anything. And the thing is, you have to be really careful about this stuff because if you overdo it, you can really ruin a season easily.
Mhm. We had an experience
Like
like that.
like one broken class, everyone swaps to it, and it's like there's no challenge with Ubers or anything. You don't need gear and the market. Um, I think I heard on the Dawn the Crown interview with Rexy yesterday. Market is essentially PvP,
Yep.
which is true. Yeah,
Yep. Trade
you
is always
compete in the
PvP.
market. You compete for generating value, gold.
Yeah. It's trade has always as like I have an economics background, like I had an economics major.
Mhm.
And trade and ARPGs has always at its core been a form of PvP because you are competing with everyone else for the highest market share either on a set of items or the highest return on items, and that can be factors of speed, availability, supply. Like, it's all supply, demand, and econ control. And all of that in a sense is PvP because if you're too slow, other players are pushing the price up beyond where you can touch it. And so that's
Right.
hard to
Yeah.
balance
And
around too.
when everyone's playing those really strong characters and you're on a really bad one, and you're not able to farm those things, and you finally get a drop and it's worth like 10 gold, it's like, well, great.
Yeah, that's where I think people I think at the end of the day, character balance matters less to people when that's not a factor, but when you factor in that trade is PvP, character balance becomes rotated around like, okay, I can't make as much money as that guy because he's playing that character and I'm not. And that's where class balance really hits home with people who play trade specifically,
Right. Yeah.
which is challenging because you're not balancing a game entirely around trade. There's other things to continue.
Exactly. Yeah. Like I said, I try to look at it from an SSF standpoint, but obviously you have to account for the market with the way you design things in trade. We have a little bit of an easier time because we have Odyssey specific buffs. However, in the future, Odyssey guys, don't get mad at me for this. I promise I'm not going to do anything bad. In the future, I would like to design the game in a way where you don't need those Odyssey buffs, if you
Interesting.
know what I mean.
That's an interesting concept because I know the Odyssey buffs are one of the main draws for people to SSF or Odyssey in Hero Siege. I think it's from what I hear, people who play the genre they consider Odyssey one of the best forms of SSF next to Last Epoch's SSF. Like they compare those two as one of the best systems for solo self found.
Right. Yeah. So my mentality is if you have direct paths to farm your player power and customize your character in the way that you want, and you have ways to change the game in a way that allows you to skip more tedious things, like mining, for example. A lot of people don't like mining. Um, Rexy actually came up with one of the I thought it was one of the coolest nodes for the other. I've teased it before. Um, it's the mining node that disables all other nodes, but mining is now instant. And by the way, this is always a perfect hit. I don't know if people know about that
Oh,
mini game with the mining node. It's always a perfect hit, so you
oh,
actually do get a good amount of ore.
oh! That is something I was not aware of when I was looking over that because that's
Hmm.
really important to know. Actually, that's really good.
Yeah, it's really good, and I think that is going. I think a lot of SSF people are going to be very happy about that. And I asked for mining buffs for SSF, but after testing that node out, I don't even know if you need it. It's pretty quick. Like you just run over a node, you get a perfect hit every time you press F. It's so good. So that's kind of what I mean by like we will design the game in a way where you wouldn't need those buffs.
You instead
Like
would
you'll be able
just
to scale
focus
your loot
on
up,
with your tree.
your farms, change your farms, and so you would just want to play the game more, and you wouldn't need drop rate buffs and stuff like that for the game to feel better for you as an Odyssey player. Because of course, we have to balance around the market. If the SSF buffs existed in trade, all the materials would be worth so little.
It's true, especially now because Odyssey is getting like a 40% ore drop buff. So combined with that, like mining is going to be just like very expedited, or at least the jewel crafting aspect for Odyssey is going to be very expedited. And
Oh yeah.
interesting concept. So that's interesting too because that means right there you have kind of a solution. Not withstanding the 40% buff, but the node itself, perfect hits, instantaneous. that itself is a solution to kind of the I hate mining. So it sounds
Yes,
like
yeah.
we design. So if we design the ether tree, so what you're saying is like if we design the ether tree well enough, you don't need Odyssey buffs because the game itself will solve your problem.
Well, if we design the game well enough in general, it's not just down to the other. It's kind of everything. So a big like one of the best changes we ever did was the change to heroics, dropping in specific locations. Now you can actually, if you want something, you know where to get it, and with enough time, you know you can get it, and you're not entirely up to the RNG gods. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean it means you know that you can target that kind of thing and just instead of hoping, because right now like Odyssey is just like it was described to me as like a quant buff as opposed to blood packs, which are like a rarity buff.
Mm. I think blood packs have quite a bit of. I'm not super familiar with blood packs. I think they have a lot of sliders you can turn up.
Oh, they have a lot of sliders you can turn up. Yeah, it's a lot
I
of
think I think
things.
that's a pretty cool feature that we have. Blood packs are very very cool and fun.
I have a lot of opinions about blood packs. Mostly that I think every ARPG would benefit not only financially but like player happiness wise. I think the only argument I've ever heard against blood packs is the concept of them splitting the population, removing people from trade.
Hmm.
Which that's
Right.
that's like the number one thing, other than the people who are like, oh, it's cheating, and all that, the noise you filter out. But the concept of splitting the player base, which that is a concern, especially when you have a smaller community and a smaller game. But I think when you design trade, like with the market rework, especially you guys are doing, which looks amazing from the video I saw today. That's fantastic.
Thank you. Yeah,
Um,
Robert is awesome.
yeah. So if you design the game well enough, you're not splitting the player base. You're just giving people and players more agency and control about how they want to play the game. Because a blood pact, those people we mentioned who have 2 hours, 10 nanoseconds to play the game a week, that's a great option for them with maybe a couple of their other dad gamer friends, and it expedites the game for them and it harms nobody else because the people who want to play trade and put the time in, they now have good options and robust options with the market. So it's all about like designing what helps the most people play how they want to, is what it seems like.
I think blood packs are probably as a player, I was pretty impressed by them because I thought it was kind of innovative. Because I don't know any other game in the genre. I call these games Diablo-esques. I don't call them ARPGs. ARPGs, there's so many games that you could call an ARPG, and it's nothing like this. What makes these games unique is the character customization and the item modifiers, like the item design.
Yeah.
All of that ties into your character customization on how your character plays. So I call them Diablo-esques.
Yeah. Blood packs are very across the genre are very unique to Hero Siege. And that's why I said I think a lot of games could benefit from looking at that and being like, hey, this is a great idea. Because it's extremely unique and it's probably one of the most innovative concepts I've heard for private leagues and GSF. Because like other games have that, but the only options they ever have is to make it harder. Or there's nothing like
Yeah,
this.
yeah. Except that one time PoE had that thing with Abyss, extra projectiles, and the spires were
Oh, where they
shooting
would
out
spawn
like
more
12.
mobs.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. That was really funny.
You could change that. Yeah, you could change extra proj because it's supposed to be a gauntlet difficulty modifier. But in Affliction, you could just
Yeah,
spin up a league with it and put it on everything. Yeah, I remember that.
yeah. That was really funny.
Didn't they disable that in like a week after people found that
Oh,
out?
so sad.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's just having some fun, guys.
Yeah.
Just having
That's the
some fun.
thing. What's
I'd
PoE
like to
that's
hear
thing?
their I'd like to hear their input and outlook on that. I think it'd be pretty interesting.
Yeah, I think a big thing for PoE is because private leagues can go to standard, and one of the reasons blood packs kind of exist in the way they do
Mm,
is the characters are just in the blood pact forever. So they never affect any overall economy or world outside of the pact, which is why it's okay to have a system where you can juice everything to crazy levels.
right. Yeah, I think you're spot on with that. That makes complete sense to me.
Because like I don't think Hero Siege really has a like standard economy the way PoE does. So even if they did go to standard, it probably wouldn't change too much. But still, I think it's good to have it isolated. As much as I'd love to access my blood pack characters from ye old times
Mm.
without paying for it, I think it's
It's all
better.
sentimental.
Yeah, it's very sentimental. I got some characters I miss dearly on there.
Mm.
But yeah,
I
it's
don't know.
fun.
Maybe we could make something like that happen, like a special blood pact standard of some sort. I don't know. I
Everybody's blood
could
pack characters go to
ask
the same
internally.
place.
Yeah, yeah, that makes sense to me. It's like I used to play on Open BNet and Diablo 2. It was fun.
Yeah, yeah. Oh, the
Are
old
you
open
familiar with
VNet.
Open
Yep,
BNet?
with all the hacked
Yeah, that's like
characters.
what. Yeah, yeah, that's where local characters were local, so you could mess around with them.
Yep.
And I thought it was a lot of fun.
Some white items, some Aki rings, some ith
Mm.
weapons, couple fun things. Yep. I very remember that. That was a great time. That was a open BNet, and everybody learned how to transfer items from open BNet to closed BNet, and thus we got some interesting PvP.
Wait, what? I don't remember that.
Oh yeah, there was it's an old
I
story.
was
It's
very young.
yeah, that's when I was doing a ton of PvP back in 08 and 09 on LOD on closed BNet. There was some people that found out how to move hacked items over. And so you had the ith weapons, which were essentially like Breath of the Dying, but they took all the
Oh
runes out
man.
and put all ED stuff in. So it was like double damage. You had rings that were just the Oculus, but on a ring. You had a 65% life leech necklace that all the Zons would wear and never be killable because of it.
Oh man.
It was a wild time.
This sounds. And people probably just played as if like they were accounting for that and they were okay with it.
Oh yeah.
Knowing Diablo 2 and what they put up with in terms of PvP and stuff, it's just like that just becomes the norm.
Yep. We made it. We tried to make it work. We tried to make it work. It was fun. It was a good time. Oh, so as far as all that, I do want to get more into game design questions, but um one thing I'm curious about is so we've talked about Diablo 2, great subject to branch off of, one of the
Hmm.
oldest games in the genre. So what game did you start with? Like where did you start gaming and how did you transition to online gaming? Like what did you play that got you into this when you were I assume younger. I assume maybe as a kid you started.
Yeah, I probably started. I was like a toddler, and apparently I was on my dad's PC playing Duke Nukem 3D at some point. I don't remember it because I was way too young, but I had like gotten out of the pen that I was kept in, and I got up the stairs and I got on his PC and I was just gaming on Duke Nukem 3D
Duke
with a
Nukem
joystick.
3D.
Yeah, so I guess that's like the first game that I played. Um, and back then we didn't have internet. Um, we didn't have internet for a long time, actually. I think when we got internet, it was a little bit after Half Life released, and after I got internet, I was just gaming on Half Life all the time. I was like 4 or 5 years old, just playing Half Life, Team Fortress Classic all day.
God, yeah. Okay, so you had a similar time to me. I played Duke Nukem 3D with my buddies. We used to rock that up in multiplayer. When we picked it up on the N64, we would play that. I remember someone playing the dude that had a sniper rifle a lot, and
Oh yeah,
oh god, and that
such
was
a
the most annoying
classic.
character because you just snipe everybody. It was like the evil Duke Nukem. TFC, however, now you're speaking my language. You get into Half Life. We get Half Life
Oh yeah,
mods.
super big Half Life fan. I had just played Sven Co-op the other day.
Oh, I was gonna ask how many, what kind of mods did you play? Because there are a couple niche
The
ones that I
Specialist,
played.
man. Oh man,
Yes,
Vampire
yes,
Slayer. I probably put thousands of hours into the Specialist and Vampire Slayer. Those they just don't make games like that anymore.
dude,
It's just not the
nothing,
same.
nothing like just slow mowing your way around a corner with akimbo Uzis and the specialist and just ripping two people down.
God, imagine the Specialist being a free mod today. That was like that mod, I feel really bad for um, the new generation of gamers because they will never get to experience all that stuff. It's all kind of like lost to time. And it was really fun. It was really fun. There's nothing quite like going into a Half-Life 1 server and someone's on, I forgot what the old macro was to play music over your microphone
Oh
and it
my
being
god,
really
yeah.
bad quality. Someone's playing like Darude Sandstorm or something, and
Yep.
everyone's just gaming.
Yep. That guy comes around the corner in the proxy chat, makes the music all loud, and then he just runs by with all the terrible quality. Half-Life mods are what I grew up on. I had a ton of
Yeah,
specialists.
yeah.
Natural
Oh
selection was
yeah.
a big one for me.
Oh yeah. I played a lot of natural selection too. I forgot about that. Yeah, I love natural selection. That I don't understand, man. They game devs, modders at least, were built different back then. How do you make a mod like that for free?
I don't. You just do, I guess. Like they knocked that out. Just completely different game too. Literally, just on an engine,
Yeah,
completely
it's
different
like
game.
complete overhauls. You'd never see that anymore. I can't think of anything. Did you ever play Master Sword Continued?
Yes.
You did? Oh, that's awesome. That was probably my favorite of all time. It's actually still developed, by the way.
Is it really?
Oh yeah, it is. It's called Master Sword Rebirth now, and you can still play it.
Yeah, I remember that. I remember that game. I remember looking at it being like, this is just a medieval game in Half-Life. I was not ready. I was not ready. They probably still have it on
Oh,
like mod DB and all that at this point.
oh yeah, of course, and it's still developed
Just
under
too.
Master Sword Rebirth. It's been passed down a few hands, and now it's open source actually.
Ooh, that's funny. Okay, well, we're gonna have another conversation about Half-Life mods. I feel like we're gonna vibe on that
Yeah,
for a while because
yeah.
I have
It's
a lot to
really
talk
easy to
about
talk
those.
about that because that's a good time, man.
Yeah. That's good. It sounds like we had like a similar one. Like when we grew up with games, now we get to unk out about it. Just two old unks is what my chat's saying, talking about their old ass games.
Yeah. Wait. Do you mind if I ask how old you are? I'm
I am
30.
I'm 38, so
Oh, oh.
I am old.
I man, I turned 30 and I was like, it's over for me.
It hurts immediately. Like
Yeah, it
your
does.
back just goes ow, and you're like, oh cool. Oh my god.
I felt
Okay,
that. I feel it in my joints already.
so what? So I have a lot of actually like CM questions. Wanna because one of the things I was always curious about is like what the CM role is going to mean for Pass. Obviously, Pass didn't have a CM for the longest time, and I wanted them to have one, like especially as a content creator,
Hmm. Hmm.
because I think that's a role that's like very important at companies. A lot of people undervalue
Oh
it,
yeah.
and as the company grows, which we've seen it grow pretty, like season 9 was a big, like season 6 was a stepping point, and then season 9 was obviously another big step up, and I think season 10 is going to look
Oh
like that
yeah.
too.
Season 10 is gonna be crazy.
Yeah. So the question I had as a community manager in that role, like what is like a big like thing you want to accomplish or like an endeavor you have that you want to accomplish in that role that you're excited to look forward to? Is there something you have in mind that like you want that role to create within the company or within the game?
Oh yeah. A positive experience. I want to make people happy. I want to improve the developer player reputations. I don't know. I like seeing people happy and having a good time. And I enjoy talking to people and dealing with the public. My opinion on that might change on release when I get turned into a punching bag, but we'll
Fair.
see.
Yeah,
That's why a
general
lot of
chat is
devs don't. Yeah, it gets crazy, and people are a little mean.
oh yeah.
Gotta have some
we
empathy, guys.
we
It's like
know.
if we got like 60K players, you gotta understand we're like we don't have that many employees, and Tom he's only one guy, so we gotta go easy on Tom. We gotta give him our energy.
It's one of those things a lot of people don't understand is there's like one guy handling the servers, so like
Right,
All the
right.
rest of you can
I
do
think
is sit
shift
there in
helps
general
out
chat
now.
getting beat up.
Yeah, yeah, it's never good to target anyone, and um, if things really explode, we have prepared tons of server capacity. We've been stressing it. We've been talking about it every day. And if something goes wrong, it's like this stuff happens to million-dollar companies. I mean, well, Panagar is a million-dollar company, but like the triple A studios, this happens to them. So, like we really don't have that many people. We don't have a publisher. We don't have infinite funds. So people just gotta relax and have some empathy and patience.
That is
We
one of
we
those things
will get
people
it
though.
fixed. We will get it fixed. We have to get it fixed. It has to be fixed.
Yeah, I don't, because like I understand like holding people accountable and being like, hey,
Oh
there's an
yeah, of
expectation about my
course.
numbers, but like I've also like, so I actually haven't been playing Hero Siege that long comparative to a lot of people who I've met while streaming it and making content. Um, but like at this point, even I'm just like, yeah, servers might be fucked, and oh well, they're gonna work eventually. Like, and I know it sucks because everybody gets the hype and
hmm
it pulls the wind right out of you.
and then
Yeah,
yeah, and then you get let down.
yeah,
But if we have like a 4 times player count jump, it's like, come on, guys, who could have prepared for this? Really?
yeah. And season 10's looking like we're gonna see a significant jump because we have some seriously big content creators in the ARPG space who are talking about playing it, which means all of their viewers are most likely going to also want to play it, because if you see someone playing Hero Siege and you've never seen somebody play it before, you're probably going to download it because it looks
Yeah, that's
fun.
right. And I think if a game blows up on Steam, it gets put on the front page with a big banner.
It does, and I know in season 9 it got bumped up to like one of the most sold. I think Elias
Mm,
said it was like really high up
yeah.
on total sales, and it was like being featured a few times because season 9 had like a big blow up. So that's something to look forward to.
Yeah, yeah. The game has come so far. Like it's doing better than ever, and I'm really proud of everyone on the team. They've really put in a lot of work.
That's good. Yeah, I mean, I know very well like how hard everyone's working just to try to make things like really really solid, and especially for the new season. That's the interesting thing too. So,
Oh
so
yeah,
the positive and like happy time is what you're looking to create, which is
yeah,
good.
yeah. I like being positive. I try to be as positive as I can. I want to be a good influence.
Yeah, and I definitely think we could definitely use a lot more about like that in the community. And that's an interesting question for the follow up, is like, so we're talking about the community in general, which is where your role lands. So this is a question that was actually posed by someone, because I had a submission form for a lot of these questions, and I thought it was an interesting thing to ask, which is, how do you think like creators and fans can kind of help the community grow? Like, what do you think is the best path forward for keeping the community thriving and growing for not only content creators but people who are just a fan of the game?
Okay, I really like this question, so I might ramble about it.
I'm fine with that. Please do. Everyone loves listening to you.
Okay, so I think Hirosiege's strongest point is the party play. This genre, these games based off of Diablo 2, it was built with heavy inspiration from Dungeons and Dragons, which generally revolves around a party. If you look at Diablo 2, the classes in that game tend to have incredible party play. For example, if you are playing Diablo 2 and you have a barbarian in your game, you're going to get these huge buffs from the war
Mhm.
cries. If you're playing melee and there's a paladin in your party, like if you're a barbarian and you have a paladin using fanaticism, he's like your best friend. Having a necromancer in your party and he's using curses like life tab or whatever,
Mhm.
everyone has something to offer the other player. So party play is pretty much always good. It's like a game you can get on and be like, yeah, let's just join a server and start farming.
Yeah.
Now, I think this spirit has been lost by modern action RPGs. Like when you play Path of Exile, random party play is not efficient at all, and it usually sucks. Someone's usually blowing up the whole map while everyone follows by and takes all the loot. unless you've designed your classes specifically around the idea of playing together. And then it feels like it kind of degenerates into something where you have a bunch of people just following you around, not really attacking and just giving buffs. And you have one guy, the carry, who's like stacking Headhunter, and he's got insane fizz damage, and then all the auras are like making him do crazy elemental. You know what I mean?
I know. I've always said that D2 is probably the best party synergy ARPG I've ever played, and
It's incredible.
it's I still play to this day the PD2 seasons that come out for Project Diablo 2, and usually I do group play and synergizing in that game and designing like, hey, you play the Paladin with Fanat, we're gonna have the double Curse Necro with Amp and Decrepify, and that is something that modern RPGs have always lost.
Yeah,
and
yeah.
I appreciate Hero Siege for it doesn't have the same level of synergy, but what it does have from D2 that I think you're probably about to touch on is the drop in, drop out, instantaneous join your friends gameplay.
Yep.
And it doesn't suck. I think PoE group play sucks. Sorry, that's probably a hot take to a lot of people.
Yeah, I
hate
agree.
PoE group play.
I agree. I think they did a better job in PoE 2, especially with like normalizing movement speed. But you know that's pretty controversial. A lot of people don't like PoE 2. I think it's fun. I like pretty much every game. The only game in the genre that I haven't really ever been able to enjoy is Grim Dawn and Last Epoch. I don't know, they just didn't hit for me. Anyways, I don't want to go off on that. Essentially, what I'm saying with this is make the community grow by just playing together and making friends. Hop in the Discord voice chat sometime and just play with random people. It's the most fun I've ever had in Hero Siege. You can just join a random server that's not passworded. That's crazy in modern day. That's kind of like classic video games. You look at games nowadays, everyone's in Discord, in a private Discord, like on a passworded server, and nobody's really interacting. Like you'll meet a bunch of like a group of people in game, and they're all like, you know, they're talking to each other, but they're not talking to anyone else because they're on like their own little private call. But in Hero Siege, I've been able to just like find servers on the list, join them, and make friends. I've made so many friends doing this, and it's a really good time. You should seriously try it if you haven't.
It's something I think a lot. Like, as you said, this is like a commentary on like how to make the community grow, and I think creating that positive experience, like you're talking about, and the more like friendly outlook of the game. But yeah, like because the game supports just jumping in, and I know a lot of people have their feelings about group play. So there's a lot of feelings about that, but at its core, one of the best aspects of Hero Siege that I've always found is that ease of group play. Like I don't have to be X class with X class. I don't have to worry about does my aura work for him. I don't have to worry about if I join the
Right.
game. Like we can join, talk to each other,
Does my
blast
curse
different
work?
sides. Yeah, different sides of the map. We can blow them up while just chatting and just blowing up the game
Yep.
together and
Yep.
having fun.
Yeah.
And there's no loot drama. There's none of that.
Exactly. There's no like what would I call it? Sour grapes?
You're
Is
not
that a term I
watching
could use
10
for this?
people use sour grapes is good. You're not watching 10 people use an auto clicker when Bale hits the ground is my favorite analogy.
Yeah. So a lot of people complain about the group play, but I really think it's like our strongest point about Hero Siege. It's one of the most fun things. So if you make it worse, it's really taking away from the core, like the core of Hero Siege, at least to me. A lot of people might not see it that way, but I personally do. I mean, no matter what you do, multiple people collaborating on something is always going to be more effective than one. And if that is not the case, then it's like you would never do it. You would never play with other people. It'd be pointless. And it would be kind of annoying because you have huge FOMO from just going to play alone and by yourself. But I mean, that also creates FOMO with not playing with a group. So, really, what can you do? This is like a situation where it's like you can't make everyone happy. But personally, I think it's healthier for the game and better to have that like encourage group play. Obviously, Odyssey doesn't have that option, so
Yeah.
we have the
Yeah.
Odyssey buffs for them
I
as
mean,
well.
then we circle back to blood packs, which probably support group play even better in that way because it's you're more in a lock community and you're not PvPing with trade. You're just handing each other items freely because you're there working together to collaborate on something greater for each other. And that collaborative play is a strong point. I think Hero Siege wins a lot in the genre as the only ARPG willing to have such smooth, fluid group play and to keep that
I
in the
agree.
game. Because you won't make everybody happy when it comes to like how group play functions, but
Right.
changing the core
Right.
aspect takes away the soul of the game that makes it so unique.
Exactly.
Yeah, I love Hero Siege for its group play. I league start every season with somebody, 1 to 4 people, just people that I want to vibe with and play with. And playing the game by myself is fine too. But there's just something nice about being like, oh hey, I have a Shadow Realm. And they jump in and you guys blast a Shadow Realm, or someone's like, I'm gonna do Bifrost, you guys want Vanaheim. Like there's something nice about
Yeah,
that
there's
instant
just
drop
so
in.
much collaboration you can do. Um, I mean, I used to advertise in global. I've got a shadow merchant, and people will join looking for an angelic key a few seasons ago. Unfortunately, the vendor prices in the last season were a little too expensive for that.
Yeah, they he raised his prices once he knew the standard of supply and demand for angelic keys.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, I think it's
Oh,
one
and
that's
Mimic Unholy Sieges. I always let people hop in my games for those. And I saw a few people get some overloaded dice for my games. It was pretty cool. I love that.
I always love that when you're like in a blood pact or you're playing with people and like it's happened a lot to me a lot. I'll go to the siege and I'm just blasting and I see the first mimic and I have to like run away super fast so I don't
Hmm.
die or kill them and I have to be like join my game, join my game, join my game. I'm just like panicking to get people in there quickly.
Yeah.
Ooh. Well, that's what I love about Hero Siege is like the group play, which is really good. Let me look at my list of questions here. Kind of actually touch on it. It's funny because as we just naturally talk, we're touching a lot of these questions. Because one of the
Mhm.
questions I was going to ask is kind of like, how do you prefer to outreach to the community? You know, do you have a preferred interaction? Do you like the Discord or like YouTube content or giving people spoilers? But it sounds like you kind of like all of those things to reach the
Yeah.
community.
Hmm. My favorite is definitely Discord because I like talking directly to people. I have a lot of friends in the community. I'm very easy to approach. You can talk to me at any time.
I
I mean,
have
you can literally look
noticed
at my
and
my message history.
yeah, I have noticed that and taken advantage of that to chat about random things many times. As one of the first things
Yeah,
you told
I
me
love
was
talking to
message me
people. I
anytime.
love talking to people. I like being open. It's like I don't have any secrets really. I mean, other than obviously we have the NDA, and I mean the developers aren't subject to the NDA, but I don't want to like feed people, like certain groups of people, information that other people don't get.
Yeah, no.
So like if I talk, um, I do talk to some people, very knowledgeable players in the community for some balancing stuff, like the Odyssey stuff, the Odyssey buffs that I got Elias to do this season with the mining, and I got him to remove the gold find cap, and I talked to a lot of the really high end Odyssey players about like how could we make this game better for self, because I was hardcore Odyssey. And another thing you have to consider about Odyssey, there's a lot of people that play offline too. So it's not just Odyssey, it's also offline.
Yeah. It's
And
the and
I
offline now
saw,
is affected by that, I think is what we saw in the most recent
yes,
Steam
yeah,
post.
yeah, it should be. And when I was looking at reviews, I saw so many people complaining about offline, like, excuse me, um, complaining about drop rates and stuff. Because Heroes is one of the few games you can play offline, like you're on a plane or something. You can just hop on a
I
game.
didn't know so many people played offline until last season, actually.
Yeah, it's easy to not consider that because a lot of them also are not on the player accounts because they're offline.
Yeah, you wouldn't see them in your total numbers. It's nice too because so many
Yeah,
games
they
are
wouldn't
moved to
even be
like
on
online
Steam because they'd
only.
be, like they may not have access to the internet and they're just playing it offline. Maybe they're
Yeah.
like camping or like on a plane, and so they don't have an internet connection, but they're gaming on Hero Siege, and it's a great game to just hop in and game while you're doing something like that to take up some time.
Yeah, it's a nice game like that. I remember just seeing that you could play it offline because we ended up playing offline. Obviously, like when before the servers come up, like when we're having server issues, we'll just like sit there on
Mm.
offline just because like
Yeah,
we're
just
really
hop on
good.
offline, game
Yeah,
out.
just hang out.
It's awesome. I mean, you can't really do that in most games nowadays. All it's like forced online.
All online on everything. Like Diablo 2 is like one of the last ones that you could do that on.
Yeah, and that's like what 20 years ago. How old is it? 1990.
It's like 20
When
plus
was
years.
Diablo released?
God, like
Diablo 2.
19 is it 1998?
Probably. I don't know. Chat's gonna get mad at us if we go on about this again, though.
Is it fair, fair? Be like, oh, these boomers and their fucking their games.
Yeah, guys,
So
guys. Let me say one thing about Diablo 2. I think the remaster is really
2000?
good and it's worth playing just to
Six.
experience it because I mean, yeah, the game is archaic and it doesn't really like hold up to modern mechanics, but it's a really good experience and it has a lot of value. You can see like we didn't have a lot of updates back then, and when we play that game, we were really making the most of it with what little we had.
Yeah, this is why I introduced a lot of people to the Project Diablo 2 mod because it helps bridge that gap between the old game and like a more modern, like with a little bit of QOL, and so that's why I try to introduce people to that whenever I can because it gives people a gateway into Diablo 2 without having to go directly through Blizzard or the new graphics or all that, and people really enjoy PD2. So it's nice to have the ability to go back to a game like that with a little bit of a modern take. And I'm wondering if hopefully D2R will get there at some point where it's
Oh
more.
man, why did they not have innate modding support
I
for
know. I
online?
know.
Imagine what would happen to Diablo 2 if they had modding support for online. They have it for offline, but it's only offline. Like that is such a missed opportunity. I don't know. I don't understand what they're doing. Like, come
I
on,
think they're
Blizzard.
afraid. I think
Come
they're
on.
afraid after the after they fumbled Dota. I think they've been afraid since they fumbled
Oh,
Dota.
come on. It's so silly. You know, I think that mentality is one reason why Blizzard will never become they will never really become Blizzard again. I think that mentality is probably one of the biggest. Let people create things and
Yeah.
have their things.
So that's that corporate like greed to control that really takes away
Yeah.
from the artistic creativity that players can bring. We talked about Half-Life 1 mods. Like we know it's possible. We grew up with
Oh
seeing
yeah.
the game
Oh
world
yeah.
develop through mods.
Valve is incredible.
Yeah. So as far as before we unk out again, which is probably going to happen very easily. I
Yeah.
have a couple like like some Hero Siege pointed questions specifically, which for you actually, do you have a favorite class or archetype? And on top of that, what do you plan to play as your starter in the season?
Oh boy. Yeah, I absolutely do have a favorite class, and it's Jotun.
Okay.
Can you imagine why?
Holy, I wonder why.
Can you imagine why? Take one
let's
guess.
let's have everybody let's have you tell everybody why.
Well, I really love Frozen Orb. I love Cold Sorcerers from Diablo 2. I
Mm-hmm.
think Frozen Orb is the most aesthetic ability in like any game in this genre I've ever used. The sound design is incredible and it looks amazing. So of course I play Jotun and Hero Siege.
Yeah, like
I
three
love
people in
Frozen
chat
Orb.
immediately were like D2 Sork, D2 Sork. Like everybody knows.
Yep, yep,
Everybody knows.
yep.
Everybody knows.
Yep.
So good.
For season start, I don't really know what I'm gonna play if I'm able to play. I'm not sure if I will be able to. I want to play so bad. Um, I was thinking Butcher, something new. I've played like Stormweaver Jotun for so long now. Um, I want to try something new. Maybe Prophet. Prophet looks pretty cool. Um, Man, I haven't really given it too much thought. Maybe Bard because I've never played Flicker and I'm looking to get headaches.
Yeah, that's definitely something that'll cause. I'm having the same problem right now. This is the first season I've ever been so indecisive, so close to launch. There's a lot of choices. I'm stuck between Totem Shaman, uh, Bard, and potentially maybe Lancer. I don't know yet.
I've read that Totem Shaman is performing a lot better than it was.
And the funny thing, in season 9, it actually performed pretty well, the Fire Totem version, which is actually getting buffed, as we saw in the notes. And I did a playthrough of it the other day, and it was just one of the smoothest, most chill playthroughs I've experienced. Just plopping totems and holding W, and good single target, good clear, can benefit from every item for elemental.
Yeah, that's right.
It's pretty cool.
I'm actually curious. Does it feel like PoE? Because PoE totems always felt pretty bad to me until the recent change with. I think placement speed makes them come up faster or something. They did something. They changed the stat to make them feel a lot better. Now they feel pretty good. How would you compare them to PoE totems?
I would say they feel better than PoE totems because they have like an innate speed almost, where when you put them down, they're almost immediate in their starting to attack.
Oh yeah,
like,
okay.
I did have to get used to it because they're not instant. Like they're not an instant attack, but it's less than a second before they're attacking something. The totems come out quick. You don't need a ton of FCR. You do want a little bit for getting down like your grouping of totems, but for the most part, they're pretty reactive. The only disadvantage I think they might have is like their range, but they cost very little mana. They come out fast. They start attacking quick. Like they feel good. They feel better than
right.
totems. I feel like
they don't have that like cooldown before they start acting, do they?
No, it's like I'll put one down right now. Yeah.
Okay, yeah. So that's like a spell proxy, pretty much. Like a yeah. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, they feel good. They feel like I don't have to go through a bunch of hoops to make them feel good. So it's one of those things where like I've never played Shaman.
Don't need the ascendancy.
And I wanted to. Yeah, never played Shaman, and so I tried it the other day since we were writing a guide for it, and I was like, oh my god, this class is awesome. It's so unique too with how everything's tagged as elemental on the totems.
So you get all those nice benefits in the incarnation tree.
Yeah, probably the most incarnation hungry character in existence. But yeah, interesting too. You thought about Butcher. Butcher is one of those classes that is never not strong at the end game. It feels like.
I love his design, man. I wanted to voice him so bad. I was like, that was my guy. But it's okay. I'll get some chances for cooler characters. I mean, a while ago, Elias and I were talking about a juggernaut that's like a lot bigger than the other characters, and like he has a bunch of really like intimidating abilities with like charges and like grabbing mobs and flying into the sky and like chaos dunking them into the ground and stuff. I think that would be pretty fun.
That'd be very different, very interesting. It's funny because this will kind of like lead into the next question I want to talk about. But so I remember a while ago, Elias had said like, oh my god, we have so many classes. Like we need to hold on. And he was like, instead of making more classes, we should probably work on the classes we have and maybe redesign some of their skill trees and revamp them, or maybe he even mentioned maybe add new ones. Because at the same time, there is a player demand for new classes. People like new classes. People get excited. I've had people say like,
it's my favorite part too.
Yeah, I've had people coming in being like, "There's no new class," and I'm like, "Well, we just got one." So like, there's clearly.
I love paying for it too. I mean, well, I'm an employee now, so that sounds bad. But as a player, it's like, oh heck yeah, you guys did an awesome job on this, and I want to reward your efforts. So I'm gonna buy it, and I know eventually, like it's going to go free now. That doesn't matter to me. I still get it early, and I'm having a great time, and I want to support the developers. Keep in mind, I've only been here for 2.5 months. I've always had this mentality. So, like in Path of Exile, I think I've spent like $3,000 on.
I don't even want to think about how much money I spend that game at this point. But yeah, I agree with that. Like I don't have a problem. I personally don't have a problem supporting companies. I'm always a big person who I go like, how much value do I get out of this game? And I'll usually do $1 per hour as a good like idea. And I look at some games and I'm like, I have gotten so much money out of this game. I should be paying them more. Like I've gotten so much
So much
time.
time. Yeah, so much fun. And you know, man, what was I gonna say? It was really good. Since we're making things free now, it's um, it's not like since we have been given more financial freedom with our success, we have been, you know, like we have the ability to give people these things for free. And you know, I don't want people to think like we're really greedy and we're like rolling around in Audis and Lamborghinis and milking the player base for money. No, we really just monetize so that we can make the game better, continue to develop it, and as we've been given more success, we can do things like that, like release Act 9 for free. So we are with our success, we have been trying to give it back to the players.
Which is really nice. And I know cutting down the monetization has been a big step forward. I've seen a lot of positive reception of that. A lot of people have
Mhm.
been really happy about it. And that's one of the things that's nice. And like looking at classes, like I also get excited over new classes. I also
Oh
do.
yeah, I love them.
Um but I also like the concept of going back and revisiting what we have currently. And looking at
Yes,
it and being
yeah,
like, hey, what can we do with the because with 24 classes, and not even speaking on class balance, there's just a matter of some of these classes are just going to feel kind of the same, or some are going to feel a little maybe
yeah, yeah,
outdated mechanically. And that's where
yeah. I
it's
think a lot of the
interesting.
new ones have been very unique and well designed. I was very impressed with Bard. Um, so I think we did talk about adding new abilities to classes recently, and I put a few abilities on that document. I could actually probably share them if I could
Oh,
find them. One of them was I don't think it would be crazy, but I think it was like a monsters rest in peace aura for paladin that replenishes everyone's health and mana significantly. I don't think
oh,
anyone would really use it in game over holy aura and that other one, but I think it would be pretty useful for like some kind of support or if you just don't want to deal with on death stuff.
I mean that I think people would be down for that. So it's an aura. So yeah, because like I mean we have Jotun or people or anybody who can freeze, like use like the absolute zero ring or
Mhm.
something, can get rid of death effects. You can take it on the tree. You can use a devil's pack trinket, but getting another class that can do that as an aura, like that's really cool. That's new.
Um, there was also, sorry for interrupting you.
No, you're
There
good.
was also the Amazon, Poison Amazon needs some stuff. I was supposed to work on Poison Amazon. Unfortunately, I didn't really have time to do what I wanted to do. I know the changes when we finally get to them are going to make Poison Amazon really good and fun. However, I wanted an ability for Poison Amazon, which is like, and I came up with this using the ideas from the guys in the Amazon discussions, some kind of ability that lets you detonate poisons and deal all their damage at once.
Ooh,
So you would have your single target using that. Like you put the poison on, you detonate it, poison, detonate. And I think that would probably solve a lot of. I know how to solve the clear on Poison Amazon. I wanted to change Envenom to a proc on kill, so it could kind of proliferate from itself rather than having to be on strike.
I
Um,
like that.
yeah, I think it would be really, really fun. And I'm looking forward to making those changes in season 11. Or, I mean, sometimes we do changes like buffs and stuff for season 10. No promises, obviously, but sometimes, you know, if we're feeling like it, if we're feeling good, and we're not swamped with server issues and other problems, it's like, okay, well, let's give classes a look.
You
And
give them something a
maybe
little
we
extra.
could. Yeah, maybe we could make people happy by um, giving uh, some underperforming class some buffs.
There were a couple class buffs last season, like kind of in the middle or end of the season, and a lot of people reacted really positively to those. I think that's a
Yeah,
something
yeah,
people really like
yeah.
is those
Hmm.
underperforming classes that don't really feel like they're hitting home, especially as people are like playing more and more. Like that hits home for a lot of people. I think a lot of people would like that change for Amazon. It's funny too because like when we're talking about additional abilities, like one of the questions someone asked me, which was like a crazy pipe dream question, they were like, "Because I you're obviously a big PoE fan," and
I'm a fan of pretty much everything.
yeah, they had asked me like, "Well, can you ask him what he thinks about Hero Siege if it has room for something like ascendancies or something like that?" And I was like, that's out there, but it's interesting to play with almost as a concept.
Yeah, yeah. I am a huge Path of Exile fan. I probably have like 10,000 hours in that game. Um, I really love Ascendancies. It's one of the most exciting parts of BOE for me. It's like I love unlocking my Ascendancy. It's so satisfying. It's like the game is going to be so different. Things are about to be so fun. I'm about to feel so much power. Like you play a cultist, you get Profane Bloom, and you are gaming. It feels nice. However, I think that we basically we could do anything. I think we could come up with things which are even more fun and well designed, and most importantly, unique to Hero Siege. I want I want stuff in the game that other companies are taking inspiration from.
I like that. That's I've always been a big believer of hey, take inspiration from other games. My actual terminology is yoink that shit from each other as much as you can
Mhm,
because
mhm.
better games come
Yeah,
from innovating off what you see from other people that is popular.
yeah, and we have a great base now. I mean, the incarnation tree and the other tree, they've done so much for the end game, and they've added so much customization, and we can keep building on them. And now it's like now it's time for us to come up with some kind of interesting in-game system for Hero Siege that other games might want to take from us, which is very flattering. You know, I would want to make the game unique in that aspect, and you know, it would be very flattering to see other games do that to us.
Yeah, I think Hero Siege has a lot of unique things people could pull from it that maybe people don't
Oh
realize how
yeah,
much
of
inspiration can be
course.
taken from
I
this
mean,
game.
like we innovate on top of things which are already popular. Like people say we copy Path of Exile. Well, for one, the players wanted it. The Ether Tree and the Atlas Tree is a great design. It's one of the most. That was groundbreaking for the genre. So it's like, why would we not want that in our game? You get to customize your farm, not only your character. It's so fun, and you know, it's not like it's a direct copy or anything. Like we're just trying to make the game more fun. People wanted it, and we can build off of it. Like for example, sure, we took rune words from Diablo 2, but now we have white bases that roll a mod, quantums. You know, like we build on top of the mechanics and try to make it unique in our own way. And you know, like there's a lot of room to design things on top of what already exists. And you know, Path of Exile, Final Fantasy had that huge. I'm not super familiar with it, but had that massive skill web that is very reminiscent of Path of Exile. So it's like
It's
I
where
don't
people
know what
always
Path
talk
of
about where
Exile
they
took it
got it.
from, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. So it's you know, and we're all copying Diablo 2, really. So I don't really see a big deal about that. I think overall it's fun and it's good and the game is so much better. So let's just have fun, guys.
Yeah, I think anybody who's ever against. I saw like it was so funny because obviously the opinion of the incarnation tree was like wildly positive. Everybody was just like, please give us that. It was
Oh
probably the
yeah.
biggest
Oh
hype I've
yeah.
ever seen in the game. And you always had those like one or two who were like, well, then it's just like PoE. And it's like, but PoE is a good
Yeah.
game. And that's fun.
Yeah.
Like, and the big thing about the incarnation tree that I always told people that I think is really special about to herosiege, which is where we're taking this unique spin, is in PoE, you have to like learn the passive tree, know it, maybe follow a build guide, because like the passive tree is your character as you go through the game.
Mm-hmm.
In herosiege, it is a max level thing that you do pretty free form. It's got a small gold cost, but like you don't have to stress about it because it's an end game activity and it's just power built on top of the base of a character, which feels to
Right.
me better because it's easier for everyone to engage with it instead of it being so
Yeah.
integral.
Yeah. You get more of that classic Diablo experience with the little skill trees. And then we had sub skills, which was a really fun addition to the game and added a lot. And now we have the incarnation tree at the end game. So like there's pretty much something for every step of your journey through the game.
I think that feels really good too for a lot of people. The game's so much more fleshed out. There's definitely a sentiment that season 7 and 8 kind of like season 6 was really big because Inferno got added. And season 7 and 8 it was kind of like, okay, we got like a mechanic and we got like some tarot cards. And like it just kind of were like trudging along. Season 8 came with like a health boost and then the incarnation tree and like the whole game completely different. A completely different game, completely different builds,
Yeah,
more
here comes
customization.
Elias with a metal chair swinging with like 600 or
600
something nodes in the
crazy node.
incarnation tree.
Yeah, I remember
Was
when he
the
was
other
designing
tree
it.
and the incarnation tree added in the same update?
Yeah, same patch. I remember when he
That
designed the
just
incarnate tree too.
yeah, that's crazy.
I
That's
remember he showed a
crazy.
web of it, and then like a day later, he's like, "I added 1,100 nodes," and everyone was just like, "Dude, holy!" It's just like insane how much that builds upon characters in the game. Like it feels so good to be able to like build my character. There's something to be said about games where you hit max level and your only thing you do is get gear. And
Yeah.
in games like this, it's like I'm always gaining something other than loot when I kill monsters.
Right.
That feels
And
good.
it kind of gives you like it's an infinite grind. So um, there's pretty much no end. I mean, there's an effective end. You can only farm so much EXP given the 3 or 4 month cycle, but like you will always have another level to grind out if you want to do that.
Yeah, you're never like I'm done. Like you can be done, but like there's never a like okay, well I've plateaued. There's no more power for me to gain. I think especially with adding more nodes to the tree in season 10, like that kind of exacerbates that fact where it's like okay, there's more grind to do. There's more things I want. I see more things on that tree. I need that, but I need this and I need that, so I need to get this many levels. And so then you choose how hard you're going to grind for that, how long you're going to play if the character at its peak is what you're looking for, which probably one of the things that's really special about the game. And I love the incarnate tree, and as much as I'd love to see like all of that coalesce with like class changes and reworks, like some of the what you mentioned about poisons on, like that. Some people reacting in chat just like threw up like the holy freak out skull emote immediately when you mentioned the poison expunge attack. There's like oh like
Oh yeah.
Zon players are like oh shit give me that now like they will that's the
I
cool
wanted
stuff.
to. I wanted to, guys. The Envenom change, if it went through, I'd be rolling Poison Amazon for sure. I just didn't have enough time, sadly.
I'm
But who
glad you're
knows?
telling us what the meta in season 11 is ahead of time so that we know what to prep for, that we're all going to be playing Amazon.
I want to make it happen because a lot of people, I've had a lot of people ask me about Amazon and Necromancer, and I did play a little bit of Necromancer, Summon Necromancer. I am not a great candidate for Summon gameplay because it's like, hold on 1 second. 1 second.
He's got a He's got to fight off the Amazon players that just came into his house to try to get him to do the invent and update right away, guys. Sorry, hold on. He's got to handle that. How's everybody doing? Hi, Aaron. This is a fun conversation. I'm having a good time. He can't talk about Necro. They took him out. They got him. He started talking about Necro and he's just gone. They got him. They got the call. They got the call. It's over, man. It's over. Necro doo-doo. It seems like it might be good next patch. I'm excited for next patch. Seems really based. Drew's great. I love Drew. I'm having a fantastic time talking to him. He spun the wheel and hit Necro. Okay, guys, stop typing 07.
Sorry about that.
No, it's okay. We're just talking about how right as you talked about Necro, you vanished. So everybody was very worried about you.
No, it's okay, guys. So I'm not a great candidate for summons because I hate summoners. I hate playing summoners. So like if I had it my way, I'd make the class so broken that like it would just completely destroy everything. Because I hate waiting on summons. I hate like not being in control of my damage. You know what I mean?
Oh, so your problem with summons is that you don't feel they're powerful enough for what you want. Not that you just don't like the archetype.
I just don't like my damage not being my own. Like if a rare comes at me and my minions are busy killing some stupid like magic mob and there's a rare coming after me with a steel chair at 9 million miles an hour, I have to press a button and then they have to target that rare. And you know what I mean? It's just, I want to be able to just kill the rare. I don't like being at the mercy of AI. The AI didn't feel bad to me or anything. I just can't really play summoners. I want to be the one in control of my damage. I love proxy summoners. So like illusionist, when I say proxy, it's kind of like you summon, like a totem is kind of a proxy summon. It casts a spell for you. You're kind of in control of it because you can spawn the totem right in front of the thing you want to kill and it casts the ability. Yeah. That's fine. Mines, traps, whatever. That's cool.
Like hydras, things like that.
Yeah.
That makes sense. Because that's the thing of core summons. You're not you are summoning to do the damage, but you don't always have that 100% locked in control on it.
And I feel really bad for summoning players because we've done a lot for the early game experience on Necromancer, but it's not quite where I'd like it to be. Skeleton Warriors have Splash now. You get 3 by default. There's some changes I'd like to do that I think would put Skeleton Warriors in a good place early game. So like you can play it before you get Skeleton Mages. Because right now it's like I would rather use Arcane to level and then get Skeleton Mages. Once you get Skeleton Mages, it starts to feel pretty good. But I want to make it smooth to just play as Summoner through and through. And I want to make it a good build. I think... I don't know if we'll have time. I'm pretty sure all of our changes have already gone through. I did ask for some stuff, for more stuff for Skeleton Warriors, because we can buff Skeleton Warriors pretty heavily. They don't really account for much in-game damage at all. I spoke to some guys. They said it was like 5 to 10%, and that felt accurate to me.
Say mages and vengeful.
The mages are the ones. Damage. Yeah, the mages are the ones that like do big damage. So it's like we could probably make Skeleton Warriors pretty good without like breaking balance, and it'll make the leveling so much better because you know, you spend so much time resummoning your guys because they don't have much health early on, and that'd be nice. I mean, more stuff for Necromancer in game specifically. I don't know if the other summoners have like a similar problem. I saw in season 9 someone playing a pirate parrot build, and I thought it looked really funny, and it was pretty good. So that seemed fine. And you know, summoners are getting some new stuff for season 10. I did show that skull. That skull. People have been asking me. It says 8% projectiles. That's just like a small error in the item description. It's 8 projectiles, and it rotates around like a ring, and it just like smacks the enemy over and over.
So does each projectile do its own individual hit?
Yeah, I do believe so. I do believe so. You'd have to ask Fuma for that, but when I put it on, it did feel like my summons started zooming around, like they were just walking into things and the things were dying.
So it is, because a lot of people were like, "Oh, this is RF for minions," so it kind of would feel like that if they're rotating around it.
It's a pretty small AOE, and the AOE is based on how big the minion is. It
So you
seems
can make
from
it
what
bigger
I
with bigger
tested.
minions.
I think I actually have a GIF I could show you. Let me see if I can find it.
Ooh, there's a
It's
lot
really
of.
low quality. It's like a. I was trying to
Ooh,
put it on there, but it was so low quality. I didn't want to use it as like an official teaser, but I think it's fine for here.
ooh. Spoilers, spoilers, spoilers. It'll be exciting. I know minion builds are big
Okay,
popular.
there you go.
Let's see if I
That's
can
what
get
it
this
looks like in
open.
game.
Let me pull this up on screen for everybody. Okay, that's what it looks like. It looks exactly like the item.
Yeah, the item is
Really like
actually
that.
animated. Unfortunately, you didn't see that in my teaser.
It's got the little animation of the fire moving around.
It looks really cool. Yeah, I mean, all the art is just so good. I
I,
love like the
I
gritty
love that.
pixel art style. Pixel art is probably my favorite art style.
I'm thinking about the like Zoomancer with like 40 minions with this just everywhere. It's gonna be so funny looking.
Yes, when I was testing with Skeleton Warriors, I put that item on, and it looks kind of funny on them because it's so squished because they're so small. So it like it does look a little funny, and they run around, and it just like hits stuff constantly.
It's pretty good. I like that a lot. I'm excited for that. Now I'm rethinking things again. Got me got me thinking about Necro. I played Necro for like 500 hours in season 4. I think the class is very cool. I like a lot of the minion options in Hero Siege. We have a guide that should be up hopefully before season starts for B Profit from one of our resident chatters who loves bees. Her name is Nobika.
I love bees too.
Yeah, she's a big bee enjoyer, and she's helping me write a bee guide because she was blasting with bees in season 9. So that's
That's awesome.
it's a cool concept. I like the variation of minion builds.
Speaking of
That's pretty good.
bees, um, little tidbit I saw Elias say the other day. I think, I'm pretty sure he wrote that the wasp projectiles are deleted when they die now. So
Oh my
if
god.
people have, yeah, if people have complaints about bees, I'm almost certain I saw him write that in general the other day.
Oh my god. That's so big for like everybody because those
Yeah, I
like you'll
know, I
nuke
know.
the
That
pack, but
pissed
they're
me
still
off
there.
so bad. That pissed me off so bad.
That's insane. Everybody's gonna love that. That's like it's one of the most dangerous mobs in the game. Most dangerous mobs in the game.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. I mean, I really want to make more dangerous mobs, but I want to make it like just like get more unique mobs into the game.
Yeah, something in that does
Dangerous
like
things.
something scary and like you see it and you're like, oh shit.
Mm,
But you can deal with
right.
it if you
Yeah.
pay attention.
For season 11, I'm probably going to shoot some ideas to the team about like overhauling monsters. Um so like monster types having their own rarity and loot amount. Like a harder monster that is more dangerous would have higher rarity and loot amount naturally, and that gets multiplied by affixes.
Ooh.
So then we can have like really dangerous mobs, which are also very rewarding, and it'll make you want to find those monsters with tons of affixes that are
Uh
really dangerous.
I remember Archinemesis.
No, no, not like that. Not
I
like that.
remember
No, okay.
similarities to
So
this. Yeah.
So one thing that you have to understand there, PoE has always done that. Like, for example, they've massively throughout the years, but those guys from Abyss, the um, pretty much all of the mobs from there, the significant ones, like the ones that phase run, and then they'll stab you with that like reeve or whatever.
Those,
They
yeah, the
used to
double
have
blade.
tons of quantity, and it would get multiplied by their affix. That's always been the case for a lot of these games. Right now, Um, I believe multiple affixes in Hero Siege are not multiplicative. So we want to scale. Ideally, we would want. I don't want to speak for everyone because I'm not sure yet if that's what people would want to do. But basically, my in my head, I think it would be smart to scale difficulty with rewards. So a monster which is more dangerous than a little like goblin would have naturally more rarity and more loot amount. But then you add affixes to him, he's way more dangerous than the little goblin. And the affixes multiply how dangerous he is, so it should also multiply how rewarding he is.
Like one of my biggest issues with Hero Siege, especially when you're going through the campaign, has always been that you get that monster with like 4 or 5 affixes, a crazy Legion monster, Black Death or Black Plague, going through Lamia
Mm,
is a good example, and killing them sometimes they'll drop Satanics, but that's because they're a Legion monster.
mm,
But like for the
right,
most part, it doesn't feel like you're getting that hit like you would from a like a PoE
right,
monster,
right.
and that's something I've always wanted because multi-affix mobs can be super pain sometimes.
Yeah, you gotta scale the reward with the difficulty in my head, but also in Hero Siege, like it's like a very like blasting culture. So I wouldn't want to scale the difficulty up in a way that people didn't like that prevented them from doing that. But also, I think it's something that we could do better that makes sense in my head at least. But we'll just have to see what everyone thinks.
Type balance rope too, because you have to get to that point where multiplicative values don't like just keep going up because we have MF in the game as well. Inherent
Right?
like zone
Yeah.
MF and character MF. So like if you push that
Many
rarity
ways to
too
scale it.
high,
Yeah, the scales your item rolls up.
yeah, start
Yeah, and
popping
then
your
and then you
imbalance.
factor in multiplicative stuff from monsters, and it gets out of hand.
So there's probably a world there where to make it rewarding without like trudging into that territory, which I'm really interested to see how you guys like
Mhm,
cook that up in the
mhm.
future. Because I think that's a good one to pursue because there is a level where they don't feel as rewarding as they should for how challenging they are at times. But also you can push
Yeah,
that in
you
the
get like
wrong
a
way real
bloating
fast.
divine, stone skin, haunted mob or something, and
Oh
he's just
god,
like
yeah.
he's immortal. He's
Yeah.
immortal, and you actually spend 10 minutes killing him, and then it ends up not not being too
He's,
rewarding.
he
I
he
mean,
drops nothing.
unfortunately, unfortunately, it's like we know that's the case right now as players. So it's like we can just move on. We know like it's going to be more lucrative to just kill 500 mobs in the time it would take to kill that one mob. So I don't think it's like a huge deal either way because it's a pretty simple concept that makes sense. But naturally, you would think something more dangerous would give more rewards, and a lot of the monsters aren't really that dangerous. So we need more unique monster designs that have. I don't want to do anything like frustrating. You know what I mean? Like I
Yeah.
don't want to worry people that there's going to be like ridiculous mobs everywhere that are just farming the players. But just more interesting stuff. It can be simple, like the mages in Act One that put the skulls, the Ring of Skulls. That's a pretty cool mob.
It's very unique
I
for
mean,
that
everyone
act
hates
too.
dolls. I've always liked dolls. I think they're really funny, and if you know how to play around them, I'm sure a lot of people know this, but when you kill a doll and the explosion goes off, it's always targeting the closest player. So it'll always be rotated in that direction, and you can kind of account for that in your movement.
It's true. Yeah. There's a lot of tricks of dealing with dolls. Early arcane res, damage reduced by flat value chess pieces. A
Yeah,
lot of options to kind of like deal with them, but they are still like that number one killer
they
for
have they
players.
have they have counterplay. They have counterplay, and
Yeah.
I mean they're kind of like integral to any game in the genre. I feel it's like Pee-wee's got porcupines. God, I hate them so much. Um, I feel like you can't even avoid the Pee-wee porcupines without
I
like.
don't think I've ever dodged any of their attacks. They always just kill me. I have like 99 evasion, I just die.
Yeah, I don't really like that. I think the dolls are a lot better
Yeah, there's
because you
you
can
can
actually
tank those a
avoid
little
them.
better and avoid it, especially if you like run away. Oh my god. So one thing I did want to ask you, especially is one of my last questions about the community role, specifically, was do you have any, obviously future facing question, do you have any like ideas or thoughts or visions for community events in Hero Siege? I know it's something we currently kind of lack, especially because the size of the community, but like what's your take on that? Like, do you have any concepts of what you do for that?
And the fact that like we're very stretched thin on development,
Hmm.
being able to do those things too. I think there's a lot of fun stuff we could do. I mean, the world is our oyster in that sense. There's some stuff I've seen other games do that I thought was really fun. I'm not a huge racing fan. I like hearing about it and I like that it exists. But what was always more interesting to me was like events like Freysia and what was the other? The randomized Atlas tree was pretty cool, or passive
That one,
tree.
yeah.
My bad. That was fun. Stuff like that would be pretty fun. But we work so hard. Like as soon as the season is out, we start working on the next season. So it's really hard to fit in stuff like that. We could definitely have community events like art competitions and stuff like that. Personally, I'd be willing to go as far as like doing events like playing other games together with the community and stuff like that. You know, because
It's an
our
interesting concept.
development,
Yeah.
our yeah. I don't think any other game has done that. So that would be pretty interesting, as far as I'm aware, at
Hmm.
least. But we have that freedom because we are privately owned and we can do things like that.
That's pretty good. Yeah, I like that idea. I think when it comes down to community events, I think that's going to be probably where you lean on the community itself.
Yeah. So it's
Kind of.
it's something I would like to do, but our development cycle is so with how many people we have, we're so stretched thin. Like we got to be working on the next season, and we need all of our resources for that. So how could we fit in like big community events that have modifiers? And I mean, I'm sure we could do it. I'm sure we could do it. I don't know. I'll have to talk with the guys internally and see what they think. I
Yeah.
think it would be a lot of fun.
I think too, giving tools to people to do that kind of thing is one of the things I've seen people touch on blood packs. I think you talked a little bit about it. We talked about like randomizing and like you talked about like randomizing Alice tree. I think
Mhm.
if we could create like blood packs having special things like randomizers, randomized
Yeah,
bosses,
yeah.
stuff like that. You could have community run events where your community can create that stuff. Because we've played with this idea of running a Hero Siege gauntlet. Graxy talked about it a while back,
Mhm.
where you run a gauntlet style thing in Hero Siege, take blood packs and just make everything suck and just go and see who can get where they need to go in the game. But there's a lot of probably potential there for community events, that aren't
Yeah,
just that.
yeah, for sure. Some off-season stuff to keep everyone held over. I'll have to talk about it internally and see what everyone thinks. It's
Be
definitely an interesting question.
be interesting. Uh, One thing, we have like 5 minutes until an ad starts, so I want to make sure we're not in the middle of something when an ad starts. But I would say one of my big questions for you is what specific thing or what are you looking forward to the most for season 10?
Oh man, I love this question. Uh, I want to play it, man. I really want to play it. I don't know if I'm going to be able to play it on launch, but historically, I've always played with my very close friends. I play with shout out to Bob and my friend Will
Mhm.
and Simon, and we hop in and we just play for like 16 hours on the first day. I don't know if I'm going to be able to do that now, which is a little sad, but I'll be there at some point.
Some point, yeah. Some point he'll catch up with the boys or get a chance to play with them.
Yeah, I mean, I play pretty much every game with them, so, and it's always a lot of fun.
That's pretty good. I'm just like there's too many things I'm looking forward to. And I love like the grinding with like other people. Like I'm looking forward to playing with a bunch of people, just chatting about the game and like going forward with it. And then it's one of those things where one of the questions I want to ask you, and this is not necessarily like a spoiling kind of thing.
Mhm.
This is something someone pitched to me. I was like, what? Is there something in season 10? Because we've obviously seen quite a bit of footage, like screenshots, spoilers here and there. Is there something you think is gonna like kind of just like really surprise people, maybe like blow their minds, something shocking like that nobody's expecting right now?
The servers.
Okay.
No,
Other than the
I'm
servers.
kidding. I'm kidding. I'm kidding. I'm kidding. The whole team has done an incredible job on Abentharn season 9. I think Act 9 is going to feel very cinematic. You can see how Mika's art has improved over the years, and our composer completely nailed every single track. Man, it's incredible. Everyone on the team has done a great job. I'm super proud of everyone. So much work has gone into it. Fuma and Elias, Fuma's working like 16 hours a day over the weekends too. Elias is always doing that. The guys have been super hard working on the PS5 release. Rexy and Otto. A lot of people don't hear about Yusi. I hope I said that right. But he does pretty much everything that Elias doesn't with the back end. He's been working day and night. Shift, the one people should be familiar with now, who put together the new auction. He's been incredible. I don't know, like so much work has gone into it. Tom, I I don't really know what to say because there's just so much stuff that has been done this season, and I'm super proud of everyone, including the players, because they are the reason we can continue to develop the game and do things like release an entirely free act. Given our monetization, it's like, we didn't do that years ago, and now we are because we have that financial freedom that the players have given us to give more back to them. And we will be sure to, do our best to give back to the players.
Right, so everybody, as you heard that, don't skip all the cool cinematic and audio, and make sure you appreciate the art because they worked hard on it. Don't just try to get to Inferno immediately and for all your loot. Gotta enjoy it.
Yeah, and a lot of I don't know if our composer is visible in our Discord, so a lot of people don't know him. All the guys are just so friendly and so reliable, and I have nothing but good things to say about them. I'm super proud. It's going to be awesome, and we really need to give Tom our energy.
Yeah,
and love.
Yeah,
we can't be mean to Tom.
He's
doing
people
his
are pretty
best.
chill about Tom. I think people are pretty chill about Tom. I think unfortunately you guys are going to get the brunt of it. I'm hoping that
I'm probably going to be the public punching bag.
I hope we get more,
which I'm fine with.
Funny,
I'm fine with that.
More funny AI edit images of me and Graxy instead of like a bunch of anger.
Man, they made an AI edit of me the other day in the Discord, and it was horrible.
No.
It's so bad. I made the mistake of posting a picture of myself.
Oh, what'd you do? Why would you do that? I mean, I got
don't
a
know.
photo
It's
of me
funny.
in
I don't really care. It doesn't actually look like me, so.
I got a photo of me in a wedding dress saying Elias the server is next to a Chad looking Elias in a tuxedo. So we got I have that one. I have that one saved, and I'm gonna put it on my wall one day because it's just eternalizes season 9
Get that
for me.
framed. Yeah, that is gonna be sentimental one day. That's beautiful.
So we're coming up on an ad break in like 30 seconds. Okay. About 3 minutes. If you want to. I think I'm done with most of the questions, but if you want to do some quick viewer questions after the ad break,
I did have a little bit more to say. At the end there. So after the ad break, if you want to.
Yeah, let's we can take like a 3-minute starting now and grab some water and stuff.
Okay.
Just want anybody to miss out during the ads.
I need it bad. I woke up, I drank coffee, and I got on here, and I'm so tired. So
yeah,
I'll be right back.
Some water. All right. All right, guys, take a quick 3-minute break so nobody misses anything. That way we can everybody can enjoy. Guys, if you have a sub, you can't complain about ads. Let's have cursed AI sleepy image that got McMaxed. Oh, the big fat one. Where I'm in the back of the car yelling Elias. I like the wedding dress one. Shouldn't admit that. Fuck his ads. Who knows, Mr. Turbo Enjoyer? Who knows? All right. Well, guys, if you guys want to say stuff, you better. While I'm reading chat right now, you got a time. I'm interested to hear more of what Drew has to say. I love talking to Drew, so I'm happy to hear more. I've got the wedding dress one. I've got a couple. We cleaned up a few of them, actually. I was thinking about using it as my background on season launch. I was thinking about doing that. I just swap between Twitch and YouTube. That's based. That's very smart. What's up, Night Angel? How you doing, buddy? Please ask him about these games, Tribes, Turok, and Titan Quest. I might have a chance to ask him about those. We kind of already talked about our Unk phases a little too much. Can he help us out of the basement? No one can help you but God. And there's no basement. But yeah, so we already unked out about games quite a bit from our olden age. Don't record. Put that phone away. Put that phone away. Put that away. Where are the redeems? Redeems are turned off so that you guys don't spam I love boners and nut in my weapon every 3 seconds while I'm talking to Drew. We'll refund you. Don't worry. We'll refund you. Thank you guys for all the subs and everything, by the way. I do see all the subs. I will go through everybody's names after the interview, and thank you all personally. I really appreciate it. Thank you for the support. Thank you guys for being here, by the way. It's a crazy viewer turnout. It's very nice. We'd like to know if they're going to do a harder stance against RMT since it's been a topic. Elias hates RMT more than anything. I've heard him how passionate he gets about it. He does serious work to try to do everything against RMT that he can. The entire team is extremely passionate against RMT to the point where like they are like very, very stringent about like what they want to do and like legally pursue people. They ban so many people, and what they do is they specifically wait for people to. I don't know if I should be saying this. They specifically wait for like to find the seller instead of just going after all the buyers. Oh, this is War with China was an era. Yeah. He to this. There are groups of RMTers who personally despise Elias because he finds ways to nuke them out of the game every season. There are ones who have named their hack programs things in other languages that are like fuck Elias's mom because they hate him so much because of how hard he tries to enforce anti-RMT. They try very hard. One of the things I will say about Elias is never doubt how much he despises people cheating in this fucking game.
Okay, I'm back.
Ah, perfect. We got like 8 seconds on ads. That's good timing. Goddamn. We were yapping about random stuff. Oh yeah. So okay, and we're back from the ads. All right.
Hey everyone.
All right. So
okay,
you had more to go on that topic.
Yeah. Things that are gonna blow players' minds. Not ready for an act. The new season. I think there's going to be improvements for everyone across the board. In-game is going to feel significantly better now that you can guarantee your mechanics. That alone is going to be huge. There's tons of new nodes that provide a significant amount of rewards or change the gameplay, new ways and things to farm. The updated auction house. I showcased that. People are really going to love that. Our new developer shift. I've mentioned him many times. I keep glazing him, but I mean, the team deserves it. He's super talented and driven, and he's been doing a great job.
Yeah, I think everybody's getting to know him.
Yeah, and I see him. I see him respond and talk to people in the Discord too. And to me, like as a player, when I see a developer, especially a programmer, talking in the Discord, this is one of the reasons why I liked Elias so much because he's the CEO. So being able to talk to him was really cool. I always love developers who will talk to the players. I know it's hard. It's hard to do that, and it can generate a lot of mental. It's hard to do that as a developer because you really do get beaten up and like chewed up and spit out, and you know what I mean? It's hard to understand until you've been there and you see how people treat you sometimes.
Yeah, it kind of erodes your mental. It makes it challenging because those are the people you're trying to make a game for and a product for, and if they're just like beating you up over it, like, keeping that motivation is hard.
Yeah, and that's why these companies like Grinding Gear Games, they don't really have that player communication much anymore.
Yeah.
and I understand why. I mean, I'm fine. I'm fine with getting beaten. I can deal with it for the most part. You get used to it. So I mean, I don't. I try to take it with a grain of salt. People just get mad, and I think they say a lot of things they don't mean. Anyway,
Taking up the role of CM, so you've now kind of
mm,
become the sacrificial lamb on the front lines in a lot of ways.
yeah,
Who gets to kind
yeah.
of deal with
I
that
mean,
brunt.
if I can make our programmers more positive or upbeat by sacrificing a little of my own sanity, that's a huge win for the game. You see Tom, Shift, and Elias. If I can make them feel a little better, sacrificing my own, that is huge for the game because they are so important. We only have so many people working on the internals of the game.
That's true. Yeah.
So a lot of people, I've seen a lot of worries in the Discord about card collector being nerfed, total magic find, other ways to scale in-game loot. People are worried it's going to be dry. I'd like to say, so if things are really just not juicy enough, we can always do a pass during the season to make it better. There's one thing to always consider about a season. If things are initially too juicy, it's very risky because you can't really undo that. You can't take items, angelic stuff out of the market. It's very easy to destroy the market early on, and then there goes your season.
Yeah.
It also generates a lot more vitriol to nerf things and generally results in lost player counts. However, mid-season buffs, people love mid-season buffs. We spoke about that earlier.
Yes.
They have the opposite effect. People actually see those and they're like, "Oh heck yeah, I want to hop in." So if things aren't juicy enough initially, we may be able to make them better during the season. Obviously, no promises. I don't want to promise that on behalf of the team because it's not really up to me. But given my experience as a player, things have been in the past patched, and if things aren't good, things get better. And we really try to do our best. It requires such fine tuning, and it's very hard to get right. So starting lower and then raising it is a better option. It's much safer, and people are happier in the end because if they're set at first, then you get those loot buffs, and then they're like, "Oh heck yeah," you know.
Yeah. People do that. I think the most important part when it comes to that, because a lot of people obviously have their concerns. They have their concerns about like,
Mm-hmm.
oh, I see this nerfed, I see this
Mm-hmm.
changed. But I think the most important part is like there is the concept that you can start from a point that, because as you said, you can't give people like infinite loot and then take it away. You can't
Right.
give
Yeah.
people too juicy
Exactly.
mechanics and then take it away. But if you keep it a temperate level, let people go in and the overwhelming response is like this doesn't feel good, you have the opportunity to buff it. I think the only thing people have any
Exactly.
concern about
And
with
people get
that
excited.
concept, yeah, people love it. Like the only concern people have is like the speed of reaction to that. Obviously, it has to be a measured
Exactly.
decision.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes. Yes. You know what I was going to mention?
Hmm.
I'm sure a lot of people can relate with me. I played Path of Exile this season.
Yep.
So I'm sure you can see where I'm going with this.
Hmm.
I played this season, and I bring up Path of Exile a lot. There's a lot to learn from the mistakes of other games in the genre, and we respect every game and every developer from every other game. And we're kind of all in this together. We all benefit from each other's success. More people in Path of Exile means more people want to play Hero Siege. So don't think that I'm like putting down another game because I don't want to do that. I love Path of Exile. I'm probably most critical of Path of Exile in that regard, just because I pumped so many hours into it and I have expectations. Anyway, this season for Path of Exile, I felt like there was no reason to really push my character. The rewards were kind of, and I mean, you do come from like Mirage and the season before that. But it's like so many things were removed to scale the difficulty and reward, and it just didn't hit this season. And then they came out with that Cursed Ducat thing, but it was way too late, man. I was like, most
That
people were
was
already
no
done.
one cared at that point. It was where that was what,
Yeah,
3 weeks
it's too
in.
late. It's too late.
Yeah, that's I think where a lot of people get that feeling is like, yeah, and I mean I'll speak from someone who played season 9. A lot of those changes were pretty quick. I feel like I think there were some that could have been changed quicker. Like I think we buffed the mechanic rate
Yeah,
in
yeah,
season
those
9,
were
but
those
yeah,
a lot of those were bug fixes. And the thing about bug fixes you have to consider, um, so it just has to happen if it's causing problems in the season. Like there's no real way around it. Um, if something isn't working as intended, we have to fix it. I mean, every game in the genre does this. I don't know if you remember the big uproar when, again, Path of Exile nerfed the Watcher's Eye mod for clarity that like every Mana Guardian was using. That caused a
yep,
huge shitstorm. And it reminded me of what happened with Hero Siege. And like unfortunately that's just the reality that has to happen. And so it's a really tough decision to make, and
it can be
I'm really
challenging.
hoping that, yeah, and I'm really hoping that nothing pops up this season. I mean, I'm sure things will, but hopefully we'll get them fast enough so people don't feel like we nerf them or get angry at us.
Yeah,
Hopefully we respond quickly enough or find it quickly enough, because the first thing is you got to find it.
you find it, reproduce it, make
And
sure it's everyone. So it's a lot.
the closed beta testers put in a lot, but there's only so much they can do.
Yeah, it's in
And
a closed
like the
environment.
game is huge, man. Like the game is huge. There's going to be bugs. There's going to be things like that.
Yeah, I think as
Yeah, I
long as
mean,
there's that level, and I think people underestimate a lot of it because in season 9 the fixes were fast. Every day Elias was pushing a patch every day, sometimes two a day,
yeah, yeah,
and
yeah.
if you
I
look at
remember.
PoE,
I
that takes
remember.
a week to update.
Yeah,
Diablo 4
yeah.
takes 2 weeks to update on their biggest season ever. But then you look at Hero Siege, like I think
That's a
people
good point. Yeah,
people should have a
he
reasonable
really was like
expectation.
pushing
Yeah,
out patches like every
yeah,
day after the season. That was very nice to see. And he was on vacation too. So that's
yeah.
really funny. I think he was in
He was like
Japan.
in Japan. Yeah, he was in Japan sending pictures of Japan
he,
to us, and
he
then
doesn't
2 hours
he
later,
doesn't know
yeah,
how to take a vacation.
so he took a picture of like a nice like Japanese building, and then like 2 hours later, he's like, "Yeah, I pushed a fix.
Yeah,
Here's some
he's
pyro buffs." So I was like,
programming.
"Oh, all right,
Yeah.
sure, dude. Good for
Yeah.
you. Like, enjoy your vacation,
I mean,
please."
he deserves it. He deserves it.
Yeah,
Everyone deserves it. These
yeah, and
season
that's
releases are
that's.
so brutal.
Oh yeah, that's the thing though. Is like I think people underestimate like if it doesn't feel good immediately, it's not the situation where fuck you deal with it, and it never really has been, especially since season 9. There was nothing but like, okay, let's fix this, let's fix this, let's fix this. So I'm personally not too worried about things being. I know there's a lot of concern in the community about like, oh, they nerfed this loot, like this loot looks worse, but like there's also so much we haven't seen as far as the ether tree. There's so much we don't know about that I have to imagine is going to really push that up to where people don't have to be so concerned. I think when people open it, probably, I assume they're gonna. I imagine what everyone's gonna do on their first character is open it and immediately start looking at the Ether Tree and Incarnation Tree on their level 1 character.
Oh
And I
yeah.
think that'll probably immediately help a bunch of people feel better.
Yeah. I agree with you. I think especially the Ether tree. The Ether tree. The Ether tree looks big. Like you see it and you can tell it's been worked on. There's a lot of stuff on there now. There's a lot of stuff that's going to make mapping, or not mapping, but running areas way more juicy in general. So at the like easily accessible top end, it's not as easy to just like go and run card collector, because that's kind of crazy, man. Like you're generating angelic like every other run, and that's like 4 people usually. that's so many angelics coming into the game, and it's like nothing else other than like total MF, like Legion stacking, do more stuff is competitive with that. Like,
Yeah.
um, and like I felt as a player, the only thing you could do if you didn't want to do that was run Chaos Tower. Chaos Tower was pretty juicy. Chaos Tower was designed pretty well. I didn't. I personally didn't like the rune changes at first, but after seeing what they did to Chaos Tower, I was like, actually, this is pretty cool.
I feel like Chaos Tower and the rune
So,
changes were the first step towards kind of what you described the ether tree moving towards now, where each mechanic specializes in what it drops.
yeah, yeah. I was talking to Elias. I was like, I haven't found I haven't found any high runes. And he told me, really? I found like three in Chaos Tower earlier. And then I ran Chaos Tower and I was like, holy shit, you're right, dude. I'm pumping so
Yup.
much money in runes now.
That's
And
what
I,
we're
I
going with.
actually like that because I'm a big target farming kind of guy. I like that concept.
I think target farming is good because it gives player agency over what they want at what time and allows
Yeah,
diversifying
but
of economic demand.
there is a bad thing about that because it also restricts you. If you don't like the content, you have to do it. So it's
Fair.
kind of hard in that sense.
Yeah,
Um,
outside of trade, that becomes kind of a limiting factor.
Right. And going back to the mining thing, I had the idea. I don't think we need it now since Rexy came up with that cool node for just quickly mining everything. But I had the idea of an Ether node, which, excuse me, turns ore into monsters, and these monsters
Huh.
drop way less ore, but you don't have to mine them. They would drop way, way, way less ore, but you wouldn't have to mine them, and it would level up your mining to kill them at a like significantly diminished rate. I think that
Huh.
would be a good option for people who hate mining. Obviously, we can't make it as juicy as people who really want to mine,
True.
but that would give people an option who hate the minigame to be able to do that.
Yeah. So, obviously, like you said, with that new like insta tap node, you might need that, but it's a cool concept because even with
Yeah,
that
yeah,
insta tap node, you no longer have to
yeah.
you no longer have to
So
click. You just kill monsters.
forcing people to do content for like target farming what they need, we need to create some alternatives because not everyone likes to do that content. A lot of people don't like Chaos Tower, and I understand that. I understand that. So maybe something where you could get rewards, and it's not exactly Chaos Tower, and you also got to be careful because with that because it's like you risk making it better than Chaos Tower, which would kind of
Yeah.
like cause
Invalidate
a
it in some
problem.
way.
Yeah, yeah. And it's like nobody actually runs Chaos Tower, so it's pretty complicated. But that's like kind of the design. I'm trying to look at it in that way,
It's
make the
complex.
experience better for everyone from multiple points of view.
Yeah, the CT thing is interesting too because it came with a pretty significant change to like how runes drop. And I know one of the biggest problems people have had with the CT change is that, a lot of the rune words are more very like early to mid game items.
Hmm.
But
Hmm.
with the CT change, by the time you're powerful enough to farm CT, half of those runes are now like not as valuable to you.
Hmm.
So if you're outside of a trade perspective, especially, that's where like I know a couple rune words got
Yeah,
reworked. So I'm
that's a good
curious to see
point.
if
That's a good
we
point.
curious to see if we move to like upgrading how powerful rune words are in the future uh since the place where you're going to primarily get them is I would consider Chaos Tower some hard content because of the way it scales. It's some of the harder content.
Yeah, and if you die, you pretty much that's it.
Oh, you're cooked. Yeah,
And
that's the hard
dying
part.
in in game is so bad. Like if you die, losing your EXP is just you can't be playing the end game and losing EXP. You can't die.
Yeah, that was this was a question that personally had that I actually didn't write down initially because I forgot about it. Have you, and you as a PoE player will appreciate this, have you ever thought of, because the penalty is so severe for death, have you ever thought of the concept of bringing something over like a consumable item like the Omen of Amelioration in PoE that reduces EXP loss for like one death and then gets consumed?
I think we probably have some design space for a reward like that. We're looking for more rewards to add value to
That
the
that was the concept.
farming, the farming loop. Uh, Now, I think the EXP penalty is quite good because it solves this problem of softcore doesn't care if they die. They're just investing in 400 points, nothing in vitality. They go farm. But now it's like if you're dying in in game, you are losing all of your most significant progress. Like, if you're playing a build and you're dying in game, like you're basically fucking yourself over.
Yep.
You have to invest in survivability.
Yeah.
Otherwise, the most important avenue of progress you're missing out on.
It's
But yeah, I think that's probably a pretty good idea for some kind of rewards that we could add to um, the farming loop in some way. I mean, we have all
single
these
use elements.
mechanics.
Yeah.
We have all these mechanics, and Kevin and I, Fuma, we want to we want to put their own rewards into them. Again, that was like my ideas with like Gypsy's Prophecy, Mallets, stuff like that. You kind of see that with Rifts now because Unstable Dust is actually useful. There's new crafting recipes for Unstable Dust. And
That's exciting. Actually,
overall,
more things to craft.
like we definitely we need more rewards. The game needs more rewards to give people so we can add more like farms and stuff. I think it's pretty good. I didn't think I would like the star level mechanic at first, but after messing around with it, I actually think it's pretty fun, and it added a lot. I wasn't expecting that. It took so many of my items out of the game. It deleted so like I was trying to get a Koto's wedding ring.
Oh no.
I think I corrupted like 50 of them before I got a 5 star. That's just like 50 Kotos that don't exist anymore. And now the item is so much more valuable because everyone's deleting them. And I like to see stuff like that, taking items out of the economy. So the items that you do find are actually valuable.
Yeah, and it puts great economic value on things like the uncorrupted
Yeah.
scrolls, things like that. Like, there's already a pretty huge economic cost to trying to star up an angelic or an unholy item. And so when
Yeah.
you put economic
Yeah.
value on something like that, could be farmed or found. The same thing when I talked about like Omen of Amelioration, like that's a consumable item that has great value to somebody to it without
Yeah.
like direct power or item effect. And things like that are very interesting when you look at an overall economy. And even in SSF or Odyssey, those things would be really powerful too. You find one, you're like, cool, I'm less worried
Yeah.
about my next death. It's less devastating.
They'd have to be pretty like pretty rare, I think, because you don't want them so common that they're like trivial to use because then
Yeah.
it's like everyone's just running around with it and not caring about their EXP loss. So it'd have to be pretty rare. I feel like EXP is way more valuable in Hero Siege than it is a game like Path of Exile. I feel like after I get to 95, 96 in Path of Exile, that's really all I need. 4 passives aren't going to do that much, but in Hero Siege, there's no limit, and a lot of those nodes are really juicy. So, you know what I mean?
Yeah, when you get to the thing with Path of Exiles, you can hit 100 if you care. Like if you care. You don't
Mm,
have to on most of your characters, but like
mm.
in Hero
That's pretty easy.
Siege, in Hero Siege you never stop caring about your EXP now with the incarnation tree, especially the higher level you are because a death at like hero level 150 is so much
Yeah,
time.
that's like That's like could be even a day of progress.
For yeah, especially depending on how much you may be playing. Like if you're like
That
3
is
months
that
into
is
the
a good
season,
idea. It's pretty interesting. It's just how rare would that need to be so it's not trivial?
it would need to be fairly rare. And the good thing about it being rare would mean it's another one of those drops you see and you're like, "Oh my god, like I got
Yeah,
this."
yeah, kind of like blessed dice, maybe. I don't know.
Yeah, kind of like that. It would be similar to that where you're like, "Oh my god, I got one of these."
That's a pretty good reward we could add. I'm definitely going to talk about that internally.
Yeah, there's things
Um,
like that. There's probably room for, which is nice.
there was something else I wanted to mention, but I can't. remember what it was.
We've talked about a lot of subjects, so that makes sense. There's probably 9 things I meant to talk about that I didn't at this point.
I'm doing my best on 2 hours of sleep.
Same. It's really there. What we can do is we could move on to a couple of just like small viewer questions. I'll kind of like watch chat. And see what they wanted to ask. There was a couple questions I saw.
Sounds good.
That I'll kick over your way. Some of them trying to avoid the more like developer oriented questions. Because obviously you're not a dev, you work with the devs, but you're not a dev, so you can't just like directly speak on like full dev decisions at all times.
Right, like programming and stuff. I don't have anything to do with programming.
Okay. Search for runer. Oh, that's an interesting question. I think I know the answer to this just from seeing the auction house preview. If you guys want to submit questions in chat, by the way, I'm gonna scroll through them. So on the auction house showcase, it shows skills which are searchable for things like charms. But are you also able to search? He's asking about runer bases, basically common items with like cast on attack skills, because some items do spawn with like this will proc like the redneck's Street Drum Triumph on hit, like a weapon. Is that something that's
let me actually go look right now for him.
Just very curious about that. There's a couple things I saw just from the preview that look really interesting that you could search for. You know, search for abilities, by the way.
If that's not the case, I can certainly bring it up to Shift, and it'll probably get updated very quickly. So it's going to take me a minute to launch the CBT.
That's a very interesting. Yeah. While that's launching, should I just throw you another question?
Sure, yeah.
Let me scroll through here a little bit. I'll get to whatever questions I can, guys. This is an interesting one. This one kind of hits close to home. I may as well ask it. It was asked by a fellow content creator. So, as the community manager, is there any plan for you to take over the community content section with the content creators? I think someone else handles that right now, but that's more traditionally a CM role in a lot of companies.
Rexy and I have a lot of overlap. That is his forte, and he does really good with talking with the streamers and stuff like that. And he's been doing a lot of marketing in that sense. Yes. So sorry if you can't hear me very well. I had to put my microphone down. It's so scuffed. I don't even have a stand. No,
you're just projecting. Now we hear you. You just you have that projection. So it's all good. We hear you.
From across the room. I mean, if Rexy wanted me to, I could. I think he does really well with it, so I'm kind of okay. I mean, we can also just like kind of split the bill there and collaborate on it.
Yeah,
I think it would be up to him, really.
Okay, yeah, those are just a question someone had because
Rexy and I have a lot of overlap.
Yeah, because we already know Rexy does good with that stuff, and that we talk to Rexy a lot. It was just it was a concept that we wanted to ask because like we know that's traditionally a CM role in a lot of places. So I was curious if it was going to be something that came under your radar at some point. And Rexy knows a lot about that. For anyone who doesn't know in chat, Rexy is a partnered streamer on Twitch. Like he knows content.
I actually didn't know that. That's really cool.
Yeah, he streams TLI usually every season on launch and like blasts to like
that's awesome.
Max level.
I think he used to take part in PoE races too, and he performed really well in those.
That would not surprise me at all, given the way I've seen him play games. I'll occasionally when a TLI launch goes off, I'll look over and I'll see that his stream's been live for like 28 hours. So I'm just like, oh, okay. That tracks.
Yeah. That's awesome. Okay, so I've got the auction house open. I'm looking for proc skills. Is that correct?
So yeah, there's items. There's common items can spawn. A lot of items can spawn with a chance
to have like a chance to proc.
Yeah, chance to cast like an ability, and usually it's a character ability. So there's the chance on cast or chance on attack to proc. I wish I had one in my inventory as an example somewhere, but like I have seen them. There's chess pieces like I have, like there's the satanic ward breaker armor that has chance to cast volatile shot when you're struck. But there's like common or like magical, rare, mythic items that can technically spawn with things like that.
Okay, so I could be wrong about this, but I'm not seeing it in here. I will talk to Robert about it, Shift, and see what he thinks. I could be wrong though and searching for the wrong thing. There was something I missed about the auction house. It's actually freaking awesome. Um, I want to stream this, but well, okay. I don't want to stream it because I could potentially reveal some items that haven't been revealed yet. So I don't want to spoil that. But so basically, I can send you screenshots though, which
Yeah,
I will
I
do
can
right
pull
now.
screenshots up.
So over on the left side of the auction house. Oh wow, you actually updated it. So you have your filters there. Do you see the little like tan square? If you scroll over this, it highlights.
Oh,
It highlights. And if you click that, look at what happens. Let me make sure I'm not showing any accidental spoilers here.
okay. So it highlights it.
It brings up the list of all the items in the game, and you
Oh,
can search. It's like you're looking at the logbook. So
so it brings up a list of like the journal items, and you can just like search it through there.
right, right. I didn't realize that at first. I should probably make a little update for that.
That's kind of cool. I like that a lot.
Yeah, yeah. We'll probably put something else to make it more obvious. I think he did put that tan square over it, and it seems to highlight more visibly now. So he did update it.
That's an interesting one.
Okay,
That's
so
really cool.
the filters. I don't think you can search for proc skills yet, but I'm going to bring it up with Robert and see what we can do.
Someone said the prefixes are brute for melee and mage wrath for casting for the procs on commons. It's like that's like the prefix name that populates that. So I don't know if you can search for prefixes on the market specifically, but I think you just can search stat lines mostly. So that'd be interesting to see. I don't know. I'm curious to see what people could create with something like that if there's more market availability of it. Imagine there's some on proc stuff that could be pretty fun.
I did just search for brute, and a magic two-hander came up.
Interesting.
So there might be something there, but I'm going to bring that up with Shift regardless. I will definitely say something about that, and it'll probably get patched pretty quick. So
That's pretty cool.
I really appreciate that heads up because that's pretty important.
It's one of those little things where it's like, I wonder if this could make it in.
Yeah, I mean we got to make
Okay.
people happy with this auction house.
Yeah.
It's one of the most requested features, and I think they will be really happy. And it'll probably be pretty easy to add that in.
Yeah. That's a feature that'd be very easy to just kind of like slide in Sage. One I've actually seen this question a couple times. People they're very obviously everyone's very interested in the market if you can't tell because you know the market's a big selling point. People want to know about saved searches, if that's even a potential in the market. Like you search for an item with certain stats, and then you save that search because there's none on the market, and then you come back later and you just have it saved, so you could probably research it. I assume is why people want that.
I don't think there's like a feature for that yet, but I will definitely add it to the list.
Yeah, I think that's something I know a lot of people want. Mostly
Yeah,
because
yeah, I can see that.
yeah, that's a big one because like say you're looking for a very specific item or a very specific charm, maybe something where you've kind of filtered down the stats. Like I need a perfect version of this item, but there's none there. I'll come back in like an hour. So like that's where people kind of look at that, or maybe someone's you know like the PoE thing on the market where you can save
Yeah,
like
I'm writing
yeah
these things down as we speak.
like that's kind of like what people look at because like imagine you're farming out there just farming a bunch of like gypsy's prophecies or something and you're like okay I'm gonna come back and sell these and you just automatically can look up the price of them and be like okay that's what they're going for we have price check for that as well you can play next match with 3 points your first character doing to get those points again That's an interesting one. I think I already know the answer to this, especially because it hasn't been spoken on. This is more like a developmental like balance across character question. So, but I'll pitch it anyway because it's interesting to get insight on it. When we're rolling a new character, it's basically a question about like ether tree and that
Mhm.
carrying over. That's been a big conversation since season 9. People kind of want to know like what is the chance that we'll get account wide ether tree points so that you don't have to redo it on a character.
Right. That makes sense to me. I'll bring it up internally to see what everyone else thinks. My opinion is that it should save over, but if we want that progression to be based character wise, I can understand that it's a little inconvenient, but maybe as a another form of progression to the end game. I don't
Yeah.
know. I don't know how people feel on it. I feel like most people will agree with me
Yeah.
because a lot of us also play these games, and we can see how that would be inconvenient. But I can't really say for sure because I don't know what everyone's opinion is.
Yeah. And I think I remember it's
So
been
I
brought up
don't want to I don't
before.
want to speak for everyone.
Yeah, it's been brought up before. I do remember at one point, like I think it was brought up a lot in season 9, and I think even Elias had said like, yeah, I don't see a reason that that's like bad. Like there was no like that's a bad thing. It's like it shared incarn tree was the thing that there was like a let's not look at that as an option. I think that's where the catch up exp came from. But for ether tree,
Yeah, yeah.
that's a little
The other
different of a
tree, yeah,
situation.
yeah.
So yeah,
Because
I
I
think
mean,
there's positives there.
we obviously leveling is part of your character power, and that needs to be your progression. However, the other tree, we don't want to add too many chores to the end game for re-rolling, and we've done a lot of stuff to make re-rolling easier. Which, oh man, that was one of the greatest changes. The increased EXP gain, the catch-up
Yep.
mechanic,
I love that.
that was fantastic. Before that, I didn't really want to reroll because I was like, here, level 145. I didn't want to play another character, and like the huge FOMO from making a new character was, I'm gonna be so weak. And then Elias came out with that catch-up mechanic mid-season, and I was like, oh hell yeah, it's time to re-roll, baby.
It's like
So then I made it.
300% up to your highest, right?
Yeah,
That's an interesting one. The I guess in the vein of the ether one, which I think a lot of people would agree that like ether one makes sense. A lot of people have asked about the relic locker. If I assume that's not currently cross character, but is there a
that is
plan
not
to talk
currently
about
cross
that?
character, but we have spoken about making that like a seasonal thing. I'm fairly confident about the other tree being shared. I think most people would agree with me internally, but I don't know for sure. We'll definitely be talking about it.
Yeah, that's I know going to become a hot topic if not right now
Mm,
already
hmm
pre-release, like after release, the moment somebody thinks about an alt, they're going to be immediately just like, "Hey, I would I would like to know that." I'd like to know that. I would like to know if I can roll a character and because there's going to be I think he said there was a title for it in the patch notes for collecting all the relics. I think that's in
Yeah,
the
I
patch
believe
notes.
so. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, so that's one of those things. It's a good
It's
suggestion
like
and should
a,
definitely look into.
it's like what is it? The Holy Grail for relics. It's pretty cool.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's gonna be really nice because it's like with the relic stash is like you can have a setup for clearing with magic find and all this other stuff, and then when you need single target, you switch over to your minus res and
Yeah.
all skills and stuff. Yeah,
That was something actually. Dawn, actually. It's a good suggestion in chat. Relic lockers working with loadout swapping. Or like the
I
relics
was
changing with
just
your
thinking
loadout.
of that because
Yeah, he
I
said that
was
and I'm
like
like,
talking
that's
about
a
the
good
magic find
idea.
and
Yeah.
the yeah, we have loadouts for it.
That'd be kind of cool if you're this comes up to another thing that I had talked about previously. I think in a video or like on stream is the option to tie things to the loadouts because you obviously have your skill tree and stat loadouts. Um, if you could optionally have like a tab or a button where you could tie an incarnation tree to each loadout, and then I guess maybe a relic set to each loadout would be kind of cool. Obviously, it would probably avoid the whole tying a gear set to that because that might go a little too far. But
I don't know if we want to like make that super complicated. Maybe just separate loadouts for each one. I mean, we
yeah,
could tie the incarnation with that, but you have limited loadouts in the incarnation, so it's like if you wanted to keep your incarnation tree the same and change your relics, you would kind of be like wasting an incarnation page if you get what I mean.
yeah. So
So
I was thinking
probably
like maybe
keeping
it's
them
a
separate. It'd
check
be
button.
a little more inconvenient, but I mean, just having loadouts in the first place would be great. So I don't think it would be. Um, I think it would probably be best to keep them separate for now, but we'll see if we do get loadouts, which I'll be talking about that for sure.
Yeah, I think that's a good thing. Relic
I
loadouts.
think
I think
it's
those
a really good
are
idea. Loadouts for the auction house, loadouts for relics. You know, I
yeah,
mean, we have incarnation pages, other pages. You know, we want to load out for everything.
yeah.
Want filters for
We've
your
got it.
filters to filter your filter,
Oh yeah,
loadouts to
that's gonna be another thing. All filters. people people want more filters and stuff, and then that's kind of thing. It's the QOL. It's when you as you add more
yes.
systems.
So I can say one thing I saw Robert Shift talk about with the loop filters. He said he was going to be working on that soon. He just had to get the auction house stuff tied up. So I
Okay.
don't know if it's going to be season 10, like as a mid-season thing, but definitely in season 11, we're going to see some loop filter improvements there.
All right. So Robert's gonna break all my filters mid-season, is what I'm hearing.
No,
I'm
no,
gonna have to
no,
fan. I'm
no,
gonna have to fix that.
no. I don't think so. I don't think he's going to work on it mid-season.
Okay. Just imagine logging in and be like, my filter's broken. Why do I see 7,000 items on the ground? Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. I think I've ran out of kind of questions. We've been chatting for quite a while. It's a fun conversation, but I know I know you're light on sleep, so if you
Yeah.
feel like heading to bed, because I think you were talking about maybe getting some snooze now.
That's probably a bad idea because it's gonna mess me up real good. I mean, if chat has any more questions, I'm
All
more
right.
than
Yeah.
willing
Hey,
to answer them for a little
if
bit.
you're good with keeping going, I just wanted to double check because I know we're.
I don't mind at all.
What's your favorite pizza topping? Was the first question I read when I saw that.
Um, uh, Pepperoni. I feel like
Ooh,
I'm kind of basic in that regard.
I like pepperoni. I mean, I can't lie.
It's like the iconic pizza to me, pepperoni pizza.
It's a content creation question actually, which
Okay.
obviously I'm gonna be very biased towards because I'm like that. Is having seen interviews like this with more consistent Hero Siege streamers and seeing multiple great improvements come from stream and the viewers talking and communication with devs, do you think interviews and things like this will become more consistent with pass, assuming it remains beneficial and positive?
Um, I mean, yeah, of course, especially now that we have someone public facing like me. We have Rexy, he's public facing. Um, I mean, really, you could probably ask to interview any of the devs, and they'd probably be pretty willing to do it. It's just easier to approach, you know, Rexy and I because we're very public facing. We're in the Discord, but we could always set up like if you wanted to hear from Elias or Robert or Holgar or you know like you see all the guys. If you wanted to hear from them, like their thoughts, you could probably approach Rexy or I with that and be like, "Hey, we want to know more about UC," and we could talk to them and see if we could get something like that set up.
Okay, yeah, I like that. I like that. Oh,
Everyone is
they're
really
good.
friendly. Like that's like the first thing I noticed when I came to Panic Art Studios. Everyone is really relaxed. Everyone is really friendly. Like, so I know it can be intimidating, especially when you see some of the guys in the Discord and you don't really ever see them talk, but they are just really friendly people.
It's very true. It's a lot of these people are just like extremely chill. Like I can kind of DM anybody. It's kind of like, you know, this I was just like, hey,
Hmm, hmm.
you want to do an interview? I think it'd be
They're
good,
happy to talk about the game.
which is good. There's actually a couple really good questions here. This one is actually one I've thought about a couple times. Someone said they would love to see seasonal challenges with maybe basic MT experts. Like I know we already have Wormhole, um, as like a seasonal MTX challenge, but that's like one path to getting a challenge. And as you know, as like a PoE player, there's kind of a switch up each season very slightly on like what constitutes getting MTX for those challenges, like different things you have to
Hmm.
do.
I've thought about that. Yeah, like a free battle pass for unlocking cosmetics and stuff. So one thing to note: Path of Exile spends like 90% of their resources. I don't know if it's that much. I heard this from Chris Wilson, or one of the like big guys, and apparently they spend almost all of their resources on microtransactions. So they have this big push for microtransactions. They have all these artists, animators for that. We only have Mika and Elias for art. So we definitely can do them, and I'm sure we will because it's a good idea. But we don't have the immense amount of resources to put out like huge cosmetics. And this is one of the reasons why our monetization is the way it is. It's not because we want people to pay for content, it's because we don't really have the resources to like generate hundreds and hundreds of microtransactions to sell. Like we sell a class, and that's a lot of our revenue. And it's not because we really want to make money. We really just want to keep the servers afloat so we can keep developing the
Mm,
game. And Path of Exile can make everything free because they have so many people working on microtransactions. And so the guys developing the game can just focus on that without having to worry about monetization.
it's true.
Is that, am I rambling here? Is that like,
No,
does
that
that
makes
feel
sense.
coherent?
That makes a lot of sense. There's definitely a lot of nuance there as far as like how you would approach something like that, especially with like there's big differences in the companies and like your structure and things like that. So there's levels of that where like they can kind of
Yeah,
afford to have
yeah,
those sets up, and like we already are getting some good things. Like we have really nice Twitch drops coming in
yeah.
season 10.
Mhm.
So that's something I know. It's something that's been people have come about the concept of like trophies and things like that for completing current challenges. So
Right.
that's
Mhm.
where a lot of that comes from.
We oh yeah, we definitely want cosmetics. We definitely want cosmetics for like in-game challenges, and not like stuff that you just have to buy. I mean, um, so hold on. There was a good point I wanted to make, but I forgot because I'm like so sleep deprived.
It's okay. We live off sleep deprivation here. It's part of my name. We know. We know. We're very cooked, especially as we near a season launch where none of us are sleeping very well because we're
Hmm.
either working on stuff or already
Or hyped,
or hyped. Yes, the adrenaline
hyped
goes
thinking
hard.
about it and can't sleep. Ah man, I think I lost it, but it was a really good point.
Okay, well, if
Um,
it comes up again, we're still talking. So you can always just like snap to it if you remember it offhand.
okay, sure thing.
So what are a couple of these? Some of these other questions are really strong. Got a lot of nice questions in here. It's an interesting question. It might be more of like a Kevin question, but
Mhm.
do you know how often they actually reference the item suggestions tab in Discord if it's referenced anytime?
Um, Fuma talks to a lot of people.
He does.
He looks at the Discord a lot. I would have to ask him, but he definitely takes into account a lot of people's ideas, and he he makes sure to use feedback from people that are like trustworthy, and
Mhm.
so I think there's a good chance that he does.
I kind of figured as much, just knowing how he like. Because I know very well that, similar to what you said earlier, he will just go join public voice channels in the middle of a season,
Oh, he's always
and
in there. Yeah,
he will just play with a bunch of people.
he's like Elias. He works like 16 hours a day,
Yeah,
including
he'll sit there and
weekends.
vibe. Yeah, he'll just chat with people while he's working or while he's playing, and
Yep.
one of
Yeah.
those nice front facing things that people really enjoy. Okay, here's two fun questions that might be very technical. But we'll see. Let's see. Where was this last one? So here's one which is hyper technical. Does Pass? Do you think Pass will ever consider going to change in their anti cheat? Because I guess Linux players have a lot
Oh,
of
with
issues with that. And there's some weird performance hits from EAC. I've experienced them actually. I get micro stutters in my frames. It's less now than it used to be in season 8, but there are performance issues with that. I don't know if there's ever been any internal discussion about moving away from the current EAC and moving to something else. Because I know it's a pretty big thing decision wise.
So this, I don't know. I don't really think I can answer this question.
That makes sense.
I just know that obviously we want to keep the game as clean as possible, and we've taken measures to make it as hard to cheat in the game as possible. And I'm not sure. I'm not really sure what we can do in that regard. I have no knowledge on it. That would be more of a question for probably Elias.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, it is what it is in a lot of ways because it
That's up to
helps.
him.
Yeah, it's good for the game overall.
I don't really know anything about it,
Yeah, there's a couple
to be quite
questions like that
honest.
I've seen. Like one that I keep seeing is like about the one. This is definitely an Elias question, but it's like, can we get the ability to like pause the game at some point? I'm like, that's a big implementation for a game
I
like
would love that
herosiege.
too.
I mean, yeah, how often do you die in your inventory in this game?
Man, yeah, that is, I don't know. Yeah, I'm just not sure.
It's
That's
that's
a
one I've thought
programmer
about.
question.
Yeah, we've had that happen where like we'll be playing and I'll go play a season of PoE and I'll come back and I'll start playing Hero Siege. And I eat like 4 to 8 deaths in the campaign just stopping to put passives in because I'm so
Yeah.
used to being able to do that in PoE, which is not even it's that's only been a feature in PoE for like a year. Not even that long. So it's very funny. It's
Um,
just that's a big technical
I
hurdle to get
can
over.
I can shoot the question to Elias and see what he thinks, or one of the programmers. I think that implementation would probably be on him. I'm not really sure. I have no idea really, so I
Yeah.
don't really want to like speak out of pocket when I don't
That's
know what
why
I'm
I said it
talking
was
about really.
it's probably more of like a programmer question because that's something it took GGG a very long time to do and not something I even
I
like think
worry
about.
that it's something people could abuse.
It'd be interesting. I'm curious. Yeah, I mean, there's definitely wrong. I mean, so you're familiar like it's funny because they haven't changed this, so I guess they don't care, but like in PoE, you can pause your game by opening the trade market so that your whole screen isn't obscured. And this lets you do things like look at stuff on your screen. Like a good example is Blight Towers. If you're doing Blight, you can pause your game with the trade market and then click all your Blight Towers while you're paused. So there's levels of like what could you do with a pause screen. That's one of the most interactive examples I can think of.
People still run Blight.
Yeah, hey, so there's like there are a lot of Blight enjoyers out there, and you're gonna
Yeah,
insult
I
all
appreciate
three
it.
of them.
I appreciate it that it exists. I always thought it was so ridiculous. Like, what are we gonna get next? Mario Kart Racing?
All three of the Blight enjoyers are now mad. Okay, so
No, it's cool. I think it's great that it exists, and I'm glad that it exists. It's a really unique mechanic, and I was very impressed by how they pulled it off.
yeah, it's
Just because
interesting.
I don't like it doesn't mean it's bad.
Yeah, no, a lot of people like Blight. A lot of people like Blight. It's a cool mechanic, and in a lot, and it's
A lot of
unique.
people
It's
liked
unique.
Harbinger.
Yeah, a lot of people liked Harbinger, and we all more than that. Well,
Rest in peace.
my wrists don't, but you know, my desire for fracturing shards does. But yeah, that kind of tech is
I
very
pray they'll bring
difficult.
it back overhauled.
Yeah. This is actually a good question that just popped up as a first time chat in my chat, because this is something I've brought up, and you talked a bit about, like, we've talked a bit about monetization and things monetizing, and like how the company makes money and like what they're able to give back to the player with that. So one of these questions is an update to player subscription cabins, ability to invite party members inside, which I know party members can already join, but it's just like if you're subbed and someone else is, you can both go to the cabin, you'll see each other if you're in a party. But this question involves like cosmetics and abilities to like change the layout. So similar to hideouts in Path of Exile, which
Yeah, we could probably sell some microtransactions that give you new hideouts. Um, so now I have seen Elias say somewhere that at some point we might make that hideout free. Now I don't know if he still has this opinion, so take it with a grain of salt. That could something could happen to make that little hideout free in the future, and I definitely think we could monetize it by selling new hideouts for people, very aesthetic. And I mean, I don't know if we could do customization like Path of Exile allows. Maybe, I don't know. Maybe, I don't know. That's that's a programmer question,
yeah,
for sure. But I have seen Elias say before that at some point he wanted to make that free. Take that with a grain of salt too, because that may have that may have changed. But I think there's probably a lot of player appreciation and money for us to be made on the business side
yeah.
with custom hideouts, or well, selling hideouts to people.
I think that's someone in my chat just said people are playing World of Warcraft and Final Fantasy 14 literally just for housing. So there is a big demand for, and I think you can implement cool features, like say you make it free. And I do remember him talking a bit about this. This conversation's come up before, but you could make it free and then allow like custom sellable MTX decorations, transactions, and then when you join someone's game, you see their hideout, like you go to their hideout instead of like them having to invite you
Hmm.
specifically. So the
Yeah,
host hideout is the host
and
hideout.
yeah, and other games like to expose people to microtransactions. That's why in Path of Exile you always log into the town, because they want you to see everyone's cool outfits. I think we do pretty well in that regard because of our party play.
True. Yeah, I've grouped with quite a few people, and I see some cool wings or a cool pet or a cool portal, and I'm like,
Hmm.
well, I want that. I want that. Yeah, custom hideouts is something that we've talked about a little bit for quite a while, because I think that like it's good. It's one of those everybody wins scenarios when you get the dev time to do it, because
Cat
both the
Cafe
company,
hideout.
yeah, yes, that's what we need. Yes, immediately. I'll buy that immediately. That's but like the team wins, the
Given
players
our
win.
recent microtransactions, we might end up with like some kind of Nico cat made hideout
Honestly,
cafe.
seeing the what are you playing starter poll after the Nico made skin reveal for Marksman,
Yeah,
and it's like eclipsing every other class. So I'm like, is that because of the skin, or like I have
I'm
to
gonna
imagine
say
it is.
90% chance.
It's gotta be, right? So like, yeah, that tells me there's a level of popularity there. A little Nico made house kind of thing. So yeah, that's something a lot of people have been curious about. That's very interesting. Let's see. I forgot to fix that poll. Oh my god. Some interesting questions here. But yeah, that was one of the ones I've actually personally wondered about quite a while. Was that one? Uh that's an interesting question. I think I already know the answer to this one. Someone asked if you know if there are more than the known hidden cosmetics that exist in the game at the moment, or would there be more hidden cosmetics in the future? Because there's already some cosmetics that are like
Um,
hidden in the game.
there are, yes. I don't, I mean, I'm sure there's going to be more in the future, but I don't really think I can reveal
Ah,
anything about the hidden cosmetics,
okay,
unfortunately.
That makes sense. Okay, in case there were some secret ones nobody's found. This is
I
actually a really
remember I remember hearing about something a while ago, but now I'm not so certain.
that's fair. That's fair.
I'd have to ask and look.
Let's see. I have 4 minutes until ads start, and I have one more question I for sure want to go through. This one actually is one that kind of got brought up a couple times. Any thoughts on like map clutter, like small rocks and things that players get stuck on that
Oh
makes
yes,
movement skill a
this
little
is a
wonky?
really good question. Sorry for interrupting you, but
No, you're good. You're good.
this is
I can hear you
one
excited about this one.
this is one that I'm like, yeah, this we got to do something about this. It is probably the number one complaint I ever see other than the auction house. Um, and I think it's a big reason why people stick to teleport skills, other than teleport being really strong, like going through walls and stuff, being super fast, kind of unbeatable in that regard. So I had the idea of making phasing allow you to phase through small objects.
Hmm.
Obviously, this can't happen in the upcoming season, but this is like an issue that I really want to like look at because I play the game too, and I agree with that. You do get stuck on a lot of stuff, and at the same time, we want to make the game look good. So I've had some ideas. So phasing, letting you move through small objects, that would solve a lot of problems. Also, the way we design these, I call them doodads, like a fence in an area that would be like a doodad. That's just what I call them. So, say you see a fence and you walk towards it, the fence could fall over and not hinder your movement. Things like that don't take away from the art, but they like you don't like get stuck on everything. There's a lot of
Hmm.
stuff like that we could do. Probably make things breakable. Like give them a lot of health that doesn't scale. So in the normal game, when you're leveling, you might run into them, but then later on in the end game, it's like you don't even notice them.
You're just blowing them up. Yeah, that's a good way.
Um,
That's the artistic direction of each of the zones, the
yeah.
style.
We still want things to look good, but also you do get stuck on a lot of things in Hero Siege, and it's a big complaint, and it's legitimate. So there's ways that we could fix this without compromising the art, like with the fence, destructible objects. Um, just like walking into something and it turns into dust and sort of hindering your movement. Things like that. There's a lot of things we could do, and I'm really excited because that's one of the main things that I'm going to be talking about for season 11 because that's a big problem that we should we should fix because it will make the game feel so much better, so much better. Movement classes, it's just like a huge indirect buff to anyone who doesn't use a blink skill. And yeah, it'll just make the game feel very fluid. So that's a good question. I'm very glad that was asked.
Yeah, it's
Big brownie points to whoever said that.
yeah, that was a that is one of those that is one of those things where a lot of people are like one of the, as you said, one of the big complaints next to the market is like I trip, fall, get stuck, and collapse every 2 feet in some of these maps. And like the maps look
Hmm.
good.
Hmm.
We can't take away from the artistic direction because they look good, but there's definitely a question of like how hard is it? And then the biggest demand for a blink skill, I think, is clutter. Other than just speed, right under that for a lot of people, maybe as much as speed is the clutter and trying to avoid that.
Yeah, it's definitely a huge thing. I mean, teleport. You can also like go through walls with it. So it's,
Yeah.
like how are you going to compete with being able to go through a wall? You can save like 30 seconds in some cases.
Yeah. It's the flow of the game, and like when the flow gets interrupted while you're farming, like you hit like a rock or a torch or a fence, you're like, ugh. And it's like it's death by 1,000 cuts over time. It's frustration, but like to the idea of phasing through it, that's so not that makes phasing a much more valuable
Yeah. So
set.
when you get movement phasing, you can, and phasing is pretty available to everyone in game. You can't really get it early unless you're an attacker, but there's lots of good in-game items like Girdle of Eternal War. Is it? It's a Sung Lee belt that has phasing. It's a crazy belt in general, and so you would be able to benefit from that in game. Now, I don't necessarily think it movement feeling good should be something gated behind in game. This is just one of the things I've been thinking of to help with it. The like general idea of helping that without compromising art direction is like walking over a fence and the fence falls over, doesn't hinder your movement, or walking into a hay bale and the hay bale like puffs into a big cloud of hay bale smoke or whatever.
Yeah.
You get what I mean in that regard. Just
Yeah.
like they're more interactable rather than walls.
Yeah, they're not obstructing you, but they still exist. So they're like a physical thing, like in the game. But they don't stop the flow of your gameplay without taking away from the scenery and their existence. Like I
Yeah,
understand what you're
exactly.
saying. I like that a lot. The phasing idea is good. I know you can get phasing boots like early. They're just rare. Like phasing boots are super rare, super
Mhm.
rare. One other. I think I have like one more question, and then I'll probably say we're probably good.
Okay, sounds good. We've been here for a while. I don't want to
Yeah.
like, I don't want to make people like stir crazy. Like, oh man, this guy's been going on for
Nah, I
hours.
think
I'm
everybody's
so tired
enjoying
of
the
him.
conversation. I've only seen positive people being like, "This is fun to listen to." Um, someone asked about augments. I kind of curious about that too. Is there been any conversation about the current state of augments? Because I know augments and herosiege right now are in a spot where like half of them are just like no one really uses them, and then the other half people are just like, yeah, it's kind of nice to have. Other than like the magic find one.
Um, so, um, personally, I play casters, and I think casters are kind of spoiled in that regard. Like we have something good like all the time. I've always felt there was a really good augment for me. I don't know what the case is for some other builds. Like, can you give me an example of an archetype that doesn't have good augments?
Oh, like just like a chess piece augment that's like not good.
Oh, I thought we were talking
Oh
about
yeah,
like
right. That's
some
probably
classes not being able to take advantage of good
that's a
augments.
problem. We have two things that kind of mean the same thing because we talk about class augments, like subskill augments, and we
Hmm.
also have chest augments. I think they might have been maybe they were talking about class augments. I'm curious about chest augments because if I pull up a list of these, I can't think of a single time anyone's ever been interested in using these in the last like 2 years. There's like five that stand
Yeah.
out.
Um, so uh, I haven't really spoken much about augments. I think it's a pretty fun feature.
Yeah,
I really liked augments back when they modified your ability, but I mean, we have major sub skills now, and they've taken that place. I did like the itemization power that came from those personally. We could, as far as I know, I don't think we've updated it in a bit. I could be wrong about that, but they're pretty fun, and we could definitely look into making a lot of them more useful or better. And naturally, as the game develops, a lot of those augments may accidentally become more useful, if you know what I mean.
yeah, yeah. I think that's true. There's a lot of them right now where I think a lot of people aren't even really sure like what they do. I think especially because there's such a heavy cost to.
Yeah, and also we've had problems in the past, like with Nordic Winter
Mm,
blowing up the game.
yeah, I remember that.
So it's like it's kind of hard to balance them because if you make them too strong, it's like you risk turning the build into the augment, which can be cool in some cases, actually, I think.
Yeah,
But you know, it's another layer of balance. And but I agree with you. We should take a look at those because
yeah.
augments. I like augments a lot, and I mean, if there's any archetypes missing augments or something like you feel Um, maybe there's not good augments for poison, for example. I could definitely list that down and take a look at it.
Yeah, I think it's some of those things where like I feel some of the options have hit a point where like even when I'm like writing guides, I'm like, okay, these are like two options that are like kind of good, and then there's like the MF one which you're just gonna take because the augments have been kind of slowly tuned down over time to where a lot of them are just not as impactful, and so just I think
Well,
at the end game everyone just takes MF right now, other than like the
so
minion
like
builds.
how do you feel about monstrosity?
Monstrosity is interesting. It's very interesting because it's very hard to do the math on it a lot of the time, but
Yeah,
it's
it's
very
kind of
unique.
inconsistent. It's a
Yeah,
little inconsistent because it's very it builds up and then it has that big burst and it goes back to zero. Um,
it's hard
does
to
it
feel that.
feel? Yeah, it's kind of like those buffs that are um, have a requirement, I guess, but I'm not really sure. So obviously, MF is super strong, and it's like it's easier to look at MF and say I'm getting 10% more total magic find in Inferno or whatever, and more gold find
Yeah.
than it is to look at monstrosity and actually measure the amount of damage you're getting from that. Is it like actually improving my clear speed by 15%, or is it actually is it doing basically nothing?
Yeah, it's there's magic find you can at least pretend to feel when you get drops. With monstrosity, you're kind of always wondering. Like you can go do a boss and maybe you'll see
Yeah.
it, but it feels a little like it's a very cool concept. But the thing you're gonna feel maybe is the reduced mana cost, but you're probably building around mana cost already.
Mhm.
So that's one
With
of the things.
things like so on the incarnation tree, there's like one that gives you I think 40% more magic skill damage at the cost of 350% increased mana costs. I don't know if you use that. Do you use that?
I've used that before, like two different builds. I use that
Do you
Sandguardian. I've
think
used that.
monstrosity would help with that significantly, or do you think it wouldn't
Possibly.
really do anything? You wouldn't really feel it.
I think the problem is if you're building that node, you're inherently trying to build a way to circumvent the negative of that node without trying to account for a chess piece, especially one that's rotating and is not like guaranteed uptime. Like, yeah, you're going to get it every X amount of casts. You could probably math that out based on looking at the stacks. And this could also depend on how many monsters you're hitting or if you're hitting one target. But you're probably going to try to account for mana hunger in your own character before considering monstrosity. So it would be really cool to make those interact. I think
Okay.
the ramp up might just be a little too high or inconsistent to consider as the answer to it. Because you're going to run out of mana usually if you're not already answering for the mana hunger cost, you're going to run out of mana before you can trigger monstrosity in most cases.
And one thing we have to consider, we've obviously increased the player power like multiple times with the incarnation tree.
Yeah.
So it's like, do we now also need to buff the augments as well on top of that? I mean,
Yeah,
they
I
could
agree.
definitely be made more interesting, but um, in a way, it's like if everyone is just using avariciousness, is avariciousness too strong? You get
Yeah.
what I mean?
I
It's
think
like
I think
it's like
that's
if everyone's just running an extra 150 MF
yeah, then
and gold
that's
find.
a good point.
I'm not saying I want to nerf it. Don't worry. I'm not looking to do that. But it's just something we have to consider when we make changes like that, because a lot of people get a lot of value. Well, I think a lot of people get a lot of value out of an augment. I think attackers, the attack speed one, I can't remember what it was.
With
Last
either
time I used that, it was
Tempest
really
or
strong.
the Tempest Strike or
But
like
that might not be the
Lethal
case
Tempo.
anymore.
Lethal Tempo is really
I can't
strong.
remember which one, but I think I get what you're saying. You just want the augments to be more useful,
Yeah, and I don't think
stronger,
that needs to necessarily translate to
so that
just
they're
raw player power because, like you said, monstrosity is interesting as a concept because of like the effect it has. It's just an inconsistent kind of thing, and like you said, player power is already scaled heavily, and we're getting more of it. Being able to forge and star charms, like that's more player power. A lot of people probably didn't
mm-hmm.
like kind of skim that in the patch notes. We're like, oh, that's neat, but like the player power that probably offers when you think about what some of
Yeah,
the corruptions in the game
yeah.
do. And yeah, so
Imagine the Anubis Hawk with 5 stars. It's gonna be so much flat life,
oh
percent
man, so
life.
much life.
Like there's your early game survivability, man.
Yeah, imagine the giga rich guy who 5 stars their pumpkin. Like,
And you can forge it too.
yeah. So when I look at augments, I think maybe instead of player power, maybe there's a world where these are more utility. Something still interesting that you want, but not like directly like, oh, this gives
I
me
mean,
X amount more damage, or so that's hard to design though.
yeah, yeah. How about an augment that makes your blink cooldown recharge? I don't know about that. The blink. I'm surprised nobody has talked about blink.
I have been avoiding talking about it.
You can talk about it with
I
me.
made a
I
whole
mean,
video about it.
oh, you did?
Yeah,
We
I
spoke
have a
about it
whole.
before. Did you use my thoughts on that?
I did actually. I said
Oh,
that it was
okay. So we really
speculation because I didn't want
don't
to
need
name
to.
it, but I used your thoughts for the all roads lead to Rome kind of concept that I talked about how like it, you can't have everybody building the same thing all the time as the one solution.
Yeah, I mean, if you think about it, in these other games in the genre, what movement ability exists that lets you go like teleport through walls? Like you can use Frostblink in PoE, but it doesn't go through walls. It can go over things, but it still can't go through walls.
Yeah, that's a
And
big part of
and
it.
and yeah, so the only other game I can think of, I don't really play TLI, so I don't know, but Diablo 2, and I mean, look, everyone plays Sorcerers in Diablo 2.
Yeah,
League
you
Star,
switch
I
to
mean,
Enigma.
Enigma is the most valuable item in the game. So it's like, I was really against the Blink change at first. I didn't like it. But then I kind of realized it's like, I think this is always going to be a really big problem. And that's one reason why I really want to make those changes for obstacles in maps and stuff. So people don't feel like they have to use it. They feel a lot more okay with just being like a movement guy, stacking movement speed.
Yeah.
And, like, um, I don't know. I just felt like everyone in Hero Siege ended up using some form of teleport. I kind of came to that realization. I had like an epiphany over it, and I I don't know. I don't really know what to do because obviously I don't want to upset people. I don't want to make people mad. Um, I just uh, I just want the game to feel better overall, and design it in a way where I don't think Blink can be as super broken as it was. And regardless, one thing I'd like to know, even if we do this today, even I mean, Blink is gonna be fine. It's still gonna be really good next season. I've been using it. Um, I'm an in-game grinder. Obviously, you don't go like crazy fast with it, but it's still good enough that I can use it while mapping. It makes mapping feel. I keep saying mapping. Running zones feel way better. Um,
Hmm. I remember I did make a video about this because I think there was a lot of
oh, oh,
confusion.
oh,
Oh yeah.
Sorry for interrupting you. You can get 4 extra blink charges on the Incarnation tree.
Oh, it's 4.
4, yes, it's 4. So they're very convenient too. And I suggested to Elias to add these, but I actually think maybe it's just going to result in the same problem where now it's just people take these 4 nodes. So maybe I made a mistake there. I don't know. It's very conveniently placed too. Uh, to the north, there are these little nodes that look like all attributes, and they say plus skill stacks or something like that. And these give you an extra charge on your blink. And over to the west, there's another one placed about the same distance away, 2 of them, and you can grab those too. Um, so you can get up to 4 extra ones.
Okay, that's kind of cool.
But
That helps a lot.
I'm like suffering internally because I'm wondering if I just basically made the problem come back where it's like now people just invest like 10 points
Always,
to get the
always in
extra
the same
blink.
point. Yeah.
But because of the charge, the recharge time, you can't get more of that. So I think it might
That
be
was
okay.
a this is an interesting point. Like I said, I made a video on it, and
They're
the
very convenient
feeling.
to obtain.
Okay, good. The feeling people seem to have, kind of overwhelmingly, was a lot of people were not happy. Even my
I
video
mean,
I explained
yeah,
the process.
I'm
You and I have talked about
I'm
this,
really
and
sorry, everyone. It's just like when you really think about it, it's like everyone uses teleport. Every single class I play, I'm using Side of the Gods. I'm playing Stormweaver, Jotun, and I just kind of had a realization. It's like every class I play has teleport. Every time I play a character, and there a lot of responsibility is on us to make the movement feel better in zones.
yeah,
So that's one reason why in season 11 I really want to push for that, because since we're doing that, I want to make I want to try and get the overall game to feel better, just moving around in general. So you don't have the huge FOMO of teleport, or I mean, just the quality of life. It just feels better to not run into stuff.
yeah. I think that was something I know you and I talked about. Like I agree with the concept, and in the video I kind of talked about how I agree with the concept that every class shouldn't be trying to build the same exact thing, and there should be a design way around it. I think the main thing that I brought up was kind of twofold. It was one is teleport, even if it is a problem, it is a class identity aspect for those classes. Like that is part of their identity. So on the one hand, they are losing part of their identity in the sense that that part of their identity is becoming weaker. That is now definitively a weaker part of their identity, and there's no compensation for that. Which, granted, it was extremely strong. Everybody played them for that. A lot of people played them for that. But that's part of their identity slowly being chipped away for an overall game design for the health of the game. Yes, the other side of that that it kind of tipped me away from being like, yeah, sure, fine, great, was that casters are also receiving a top end nerf with the FCR and skill haste, diminishing return powers. So diminishing returns on skill haste now means like there's a extremely high number you have to hit to reach season 9 numbers. And it's kind of the same thing with FCR. So casters are kind of getting hit on both end, and also most of them are actually being lowered in their total damage. So for people who main casters, you yourself, it kind of hurts on all sides, especially because there's nobody, we have not seen what we get from the new season yet. Like we haven't seen what we get as a positive yet, because that's not revealed. That's kind of behind the scenes inside the incarnation tree or wherever that may lie if it's new items. So that's where I think a lot of the negative sentiment comes from, is everything about casters is being reduced, but there's no like, oh, but you get this. And I think that's kind of the where a lot of people feel the issue.
Yeah, and we also have to consider the huge buff that the incarnation tree had for casters in the first
True.
place. So it's yeah, some nodes were way too strong and they had to be toned down. We have new nodes. I want to show one from the CBT that'll probably make people happy. Okay,
Okay.
I'm not going to show it, but I'm going to imply it. Okay, so kind of a little teaser for your stream.
Okay.
There are some new nodes for light radius that scale something to do with magic.
Oh.
So yeah, that is another option, and I think people will be pretty happy about that because since a lot of casters are losing their teleport, since we have a node for magic that has to do with light radius, which scales your movement speed, if anyone didn't know that, it might make up a lot for, like the damage and less teleport charges because you'll be able to invest in that and, a lot of the in-game charms and a lot of items you use have light radius on them, so you'll be benefiting from that. Honestly, after the stream, I think I'm just going to put those nodes out on the teasers.
But yeah, I think that would be cool. I think it'd be cool. I think because you get a light radius out of these skills, your movement speed. There's a lot of light radius items in the game. I know we saw light radius stacking was kind of something people played with originally for the attack damage light radius nodes in season 9. So that's something that's kind of cool. Like I said, that's kind of I think where a lot of the sentiment around teleport is coming from. If you really look at it from like just a factual standpoint, you're like, okay, teleport and the identity getting reduced, damage at the top end reduced because of diminishing returns. Incarnation nodes nerfed, caster damage nerfed, and so like all of that together, everyone's just like, all right, so I'm just playing Bard.
Well,
It's kind of the
yeah,
reaction.
but also we've got new nodes that nobody's seen, and
that's
I
the
mean,
problem. They're there. It's just we don't know they're there.
There's still a lot of really good casters.
Oh, there are. There's good casters, which I've been telling. I told a lot of people. There's good casters.
I think Bard. People just want to play Flicker, man. I mean, Flicker's iconic.
I think the reason people want to play Flicker is because you can clear a map in 5 seconds with Flicker.
Yeah, but I mean, hey,
and it's also fun. It's very fun.
It's an iconic experience. I think everyone should experience Flicker at least once. That's why when I played PoE, I had Elias play Flicker, and he was having a great time.
Yeah, it's a fun spec. But yeah, I think that's where a lot of sentiment comes from with people. And I think that's just because, like, obviously it's a hit to something people love as an archetype and movement. The movement philosophy in the game as whole is changing. And when you change the entire philosophy of something that's been in place for years like that, obviously people are going to be like, whoa, change is difficult. But on top of that, we don't have visibility on the positives. We only are told they are there. So people react to what they can see. So I think once we actually can see new nodes,
that's a good point.
Yeah, like when we can see the new nodes, I think that's where people will be like, "Oh, maybe casters are back," and that's what people are kind of waiting for.
I mean, I don't think one node I think there's like 2 or 3. I don't think it's going to be enough for them to be like jumping around in joy, but I think it'll be like enough for them to see, where it's placed and how they can take advantage of it, and they'll be pretty happy about that.
That's good. That's something I think a lot of people are hoping for.
Yeah, right after the stream, I'm gonna see if I can hop on closed beta and probably get some screenshots of that just to show people. I think it'd be a good teaser, especially if people are feeling bad about magic classes. I mean,
comments on the video are rough. There's a lot of comments on my video, people being like really upset about the teleport changes.
It's over.
Yeah.
It's over.
Yeah, it's big it's over going on in there. Yeah, I think
but guess what? We are so back.
Yeah.
We have never been more back.
I think that's all people need.
We're gonna try to make that the case. It's hard to make everyone happy. And if you nerf something that's really strong that people like, there's never going to be a good reaction to it. But if you really think about it, because I used to be in that position too. I didn't want it to be nerfed, but then I thought about it and I'm like, you know what? This makes sense.
Yeah. Sometimes you have to just, like I said, when it comes to the actual teleport change, I agree with the concept. But I also am a big believer in identity and class identity. And so
we're adding more abilities in the future, so we're gonna have a lot of design space for that too. I don't know when we're going to do that. Probably season 11. I mean, we put up a document for new skill ideas to add to existing classes, and we were filling that up pretty recently, actually. I think about a month ago. So we can definitely expect to see some class additions that'll make you feel better about that. Yeah, the identity.
That's something I think a lot of people are looking forward to, is kind of like some slight class shakeups like that.
Yeah. there's a few that I personally think could really use it. Um, I think it'd be cool for Butcher to get some new abilities. And always you always want to kind of shift the balance around because if people play the same thing too much, they get bored. So unfortunately, it is a very important part of the dev cycle to shift things around and try to make people play different things. I don't like being super heavy-handed with it personally. Like for me personally, I would approach it by like something 10-15% per patch. Or like if Butcher's really OP and he's like pumping crazy in-game numbers, and I'd look at the skill and see it's got crazy damage numbers, but it's also got like shitloads of attack rating. So maybe I could drastically reduce the attack rating. So then you have to make up for it in gearing in order to achieve those numbers. Just balance things in a way that maybe changes how you build the character, makes it harder to build the character rather than um, flat nerfs. That's just how I see it, though, or how
I
I
could
try
see
to go
that.
about things.
I can see that. Yeah, like some of those kind of reworks are like interesting and like how you would approach them with some of these characters, especially the ones that are in some ways functioning really well at one aspect of the game, but like kind of failing in the other.
Yeah, yeah. Like Poison Amazon, when I played Poison Amazon, the single target was pretty good, but the clear was it just wasn't exciting. So my Envenom change, I think it would make the class a lot of fun.
The
If
reaction I
if you
saw
play
in
Poison
chat over that,
Amazon,
yes.
you might be worried. Yeah, yeah, they know. And my other idea was to make Toxic Remnants an on strike to replace Envenom because right now Toxic Remnants doesn't really do anything. It's like a little fart cloud that doesn't really have much AOE, and the mobs are already dead, so it won't do much. So we could move Toxic Remains to an on strike
Hmm.
to preserve the DPS of Envenom, and then Envenom could be on kill, and so you would get some really fun clear with that.
That sounds okay. That now we're cooking. Now we are cooking with some rework here. Now I like it.
I don't think it's going to be in the upcoming season. Maybe as a mid-season balance thing, if I beg my little heart and soul out. I don't know. Maybe.
Maybe. Okay, that's
But
good to hear.
I mean, it's not good to make big changes like that. Especially, well, I mean, I'm also doing it for the players because people really wanted Poison Amazon reworks. There was a kind of a Discord event over that, and Poison Amazon is definitely better, but not as good as I would want it to be yet. And like I said, things were so swamped that didn't really have time to make those changes.
Yeah. There's only so much time between the
Because
seasons
because
and it's
I
unfortunate.
I I can't make changes like that at the moment. I would like to, but I don't want to be messing around with code without UC or Elias instructing me. I mean, I have a degree associates in computer science. I know how to code. I'm not very good at it, but I do have a degree in it. So I'm not clueless or anything. And I've worked on projects and written code, developed things before. So it's not, you know, there's definitely a lot on the development side I would like to take part in.
Yeah, but you have to be so careful. We're talking a very different
Yeah.
program here to code inside of Game Maker's the whole thing.
From what I've seen so far, Game Maker doesn't seem too bad. I mean, I worked with Beyond. I don't know if you're familiar with that.
A little bit, yeah.
Beyond Lua C Sharp. Um, Beyond was Beyond was easy, but it was a complete mess. Um, I don't know if you're
What
familiar with
was
the
that?
game Space Station 13.
Yes, actually, I like that game
Yeah,
a lot.
yeah. I used to work on a server for Space Station 13, and I added quite a few features to the game. So I have an idea of what I'm doing,
Yeah, that makes sense.
sort
That's
of.
that's pretty
But I
good.
still don't want to touch anything without Elias's
Oh
or
well,
UC's graces over that, because if I mess something up, they got to clean it up.
yeah. That's I would not want to mess up something some programmers coded just because I'm like I have a good idea, and then like it's like oh now poison heals
Yeah,
everything.
exactly. Awesome. That's great.
Yeah.
It's a new feature, guys. Don't worry.
Yeah. PvP, you join your friend's game and you heal the monsters while they're trying to kill them.
Sounds great to me.
It
New
sounds
support class,
support for the enemy
except for the
side.
monsters.
Yeah. People have asked about support classes a lot. I don't know how I feel about that in Hero Siege.
Yeah, I'm like immediately trying to think of how that would work. I personally don't ever want to have the gameplay go to a point where there's like people just walking around and one guy clearing. That to me is kind of uh, unholy. That is unholy. That is an abomination. um, I always want people fighting and doing stuff, and um, we have mercenaries for that.
Yeah. Yeah,
A
mercenary
support
squad.
class would be cool. I mean, I don't know how it could work.
Yeah.
Usually, it's like a support. They'll have a support feature, like Paladin has Holy Aura, and it's freaking awesome when you have a Paladin and you're a magic caster.
Yep. I remember a lot of that, like Demon Spawn and
Um,
Paladin grouping up for the double dip on magic auras for
yeah,
rend damage.
yeah. Let's say you're running Black Tower early with your friends, and you have a Paladin. With my idea on the aura that makes slain monsters rest in peace and heal people's mana and health, like Redemption from Diablo 2. Like early on, you could use that and basically make Black Tower way more safe because, you know, the dolls wouldn't be blowing up everyone.
Yeah, just murdering everyone. Yeah. Grouping with Paladin
Mhm.
then becomes the greatest league start option possible. Like,
I
please,
mean, I
please
think
save
he's
me from
already
Black
really
Tower.
strong. He's
Oh
already
yeah.
really strong. Um,
One of the classes I suggest to a lot of people asking
there's a,
about what
there's
they
a
should
few
play first
classes that
time.
work really well with that. Like having a Viking is freaking awesome.
Hmm.
That's classic to me. Having a Viking, having a barbarian, like you can't you can't replace that to me. I love just having this huge ass health buff from a Viking.
Yep. That's what Illusionist was really good for last season. Because they get the same buff and they get a higher level of it faster with the augments through temporal heroes, and they can just buff their friends and then like leave the
Ooh,
game.
that's awesome. I didn't know that. I've never really played Illusionist much.
Yeah, it's one of the reasons they were so strong is the ability to like give themselves a huge chunk of health and mana. Like from level 40, you immediately gain a bunch of health and mana, and then every 70, 100, it spikes up, and just a good party buff to have. Same as having like a Viking in your party. A little bit of like slight homogenization of an
Mm.
interesting buff, but good to have that ability to choose something else while still having the same effect. It's kind of
That's really
nice.
awesome. I didn't know that about Illusionist.
Yeah, one of the cool aspects about them, which is kind of fun. There's a lot of flavors
I've
like
been
that about
playing so
classes.
much Jotun Stormweaver, man. I gotta change. I gotta change. I mean, okay, so usually what would happen is I would start like something I wanted to play, like Plague Doctor or something. I get really frustrated and it's like, okay, time for Stormweaver
Yeah,
or Jotun.
yeah, I have a habit of that too, where I'll just be like, why am I playing this when I can go
Yeah,
play
it's like,
Sweaver or something or Illu or something I know is just gonna like pop off
mm.
on that non-round KF bot. Okay.
um, yeah, and I also love Spark, so it's really hard to pass up on Stormweaver.
Yeah. Hey, they got buffed.
Charge bolts, Spark, whatever you want to call it.
Yeah. If the so with like FPS fixes, and even though Charge Bolt lost base damage, the pulsing charge buff that got, Spark Stormweaver could be like an actual thing, depending on how all the damage calculations work out at the end of the day.
Stormweavers for season 10, baby. Once again.
I've been
No,
trying
I mean,
so hard.
I'm hoping that people play some new stuff. I want to see, like, who do I want to see at the top of the hero level boards? I mean, it's probably always going to be EXO. I don't think I've ever not seen Stofflik at the top during league start.
Well, yeah. I mean, if we go by my poll right now, which Grant only has 600 or 1,677 votes at the moment, 13% of people for Marksman.
Mm.
So, followed by Bard.
What would a really interesting class be to be at the top? Maybe like a necromancer. That would be mind blowing. But I know the caster is really good. I was testing it myself, and it felt really good. So, I mean, perhaps we could just take someone dedicated enough.
Yeah, yeah. You're baiting me back into Stormweaver, by the way. That's what's happening right
Oh,
now.
am I?
I'm trying so hard. I wanted to start it last league and I didn't, and now I'm like,
hey, man, just have fun.
Stormweaver's like, what is this? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Like,
it's hard to beat Spark, but it's also hard to beat Flicker.
Yeah, that is true. Bard is very tempting. Shaman's very tempting. I found the totems very pleasing. Stormweaver is tempting because I know it's a good pick. Like, there's one of the best things I can say about a season is when I'm having trouble deciding on what I want to play. When there's more than 4 options and I don't know which one I like. I think that says a good thing about where the game is. So I think the more we get to the situation where people are confused about what they want to play, that's like better for the game. Because then they're just like, that means more classes are viable. That's what I like to see. Like right now, I'm like, there's like 5 or 6 classes I could just spin up right now and have a good time.
Yeah. Yeah, I see what you mean. I'm like actually kind of clueless myself on what I want to play.
I still am.
I know I said Butcher, maybe. I don't know. I don't know. I want to do something new, and I want to have a good experience, smooth. So
that's the hardest part, is when you're looking at unknown factors. I think it's a big thing for everybody right now, since it's the first season that the CBT hasn't been streamed, and there's so much unknown factor, and a lot of the guides that are going to be coming out are based off season 9 data and patch notes. So a lot of people are looking for a smooth experience and are a little like, well, what do I pick? Like, what's tried and true? What's going to be good? And that's where a lot of, I think, these decisions come from. Like you have 13% of my poll on Marksman, probably because everybody knows Gunner Drone is just like, you just walk through. It's pretty chill, and you can build into something else.
People love auto bombers.
I mean, yeah, it's a great auto bomber. You just press it and go. Bard's got Flicker. Viking's actually third on the poll, interestingly enough. I've never seen Viking so popular.
Really? Yeah, interesting.
Never seen it. That's tied with Demon Spawn for third place. Oh, man.
You know what I love? Viking just comes into your game randomly because it's unpassworded. He gives you war cries and leaves. That's happened to me a few times. It's so awesome.
Shows up.
Thank you for the 60% life and mana. I love you.
So nice. Instead of putting Isarius on your Merc and standing next to him while he gets beat up waiting for it to proc. My favorite pre-Amon Ra Inferno ritual for my first kill. Unless I have a Viking friend, which now I usually do. But it's interesting to see the class disparity there. There's a lot of people wanting to play a lot of specific classes.
I'm a noob. I feel like a noob when it comes to Fizz, because I haven't played it in so long. So I don't know how it's going to scale. With Magic, it's pretty easy. I mean, you have a few stats. Obviously, you want to cap your minus res, and then you want to get your all skills to a certain level. You want to balance your elemental skill damage and your magic skill damage, and all those things combined is what gives you your damage. For melee, I'm not sure how it is because we got Deadly Blow, Crushing Blow. You know, there's so many mods, so it's going to be interesting to me playing the new season and trying to figure that out. And I'll feel a lot more comfortable with the game overall, because I feel like I've been missing out on phys classes. I don't know how
Yeah.
they have it. I don't know if it's good, if it's bad.
I haven't touched a phys class since season 6. I'd actually kind of interested in it. I've been leaning towards it a little bit, being like, maybe this is the season I try, because I know phys at the very highest end kind of can mog casters in damage pretty well, just because of how crit damage scaling works.
Yeah.
But like I'm thinking about it. It's on there. There's a demon slayer potential in my future that I've been thinking about with the new gun that splits and forks projectiles and pierces.
Oh yeah, yeah. Ooh. Yeah.
Yeah, it's one of those things. Well, yeah, I think that's every
I
question I got
don't.
for the
I'm
day.
like thinking about that in
Oh,
my
getting baited.
mind. I'm thinking about that in my mind right now, and I'm just like, holy shit.
To make it worse, think about
What
having
is going
marches of
to
hatred.
happen? Oh, yeah. Marches of Hatred.
All right, marches of hatred, 100% move and attack speed. Probably, hopefully, persist between zones. So every reset, maybe you keep it. And then the new gun with bullet hell. Just
You know what? Maybe Marches of Hatred needs light radius scaling
oh
on those
god,
stacks
come on.
up to like 10. I don't know, man. That was so a little lore about Marches of Hatred. Elias and I really love Hatred, the game Hatred, and that
Yeah,
was kind of our unique item, and it hasn't been good for like ever really, but now I think it's actually going to be good, and I hope people use it because every time I'd open up the market, it'd be like 500k gold, and I'd be so sad.
yeah. I mean, it's a pretty significant buff. I would be shocked if it's not included in quite a few different setups, especially for any attacker that, that wants to
I'm just memeing
succeed.
about the light radius. I mean, if it's somehow not good enough, maybe I could convince Kevin Fuma to add it. Perhaps. I don't know. I know these need to be good. There's a lot that we probably need to go over at some point. Like getting, in my opinion, getting an angelic or unholy should always feel freaking awesome.
Yeah, that was one of the things I
And
think they wanted
it's
to
kind of sad.
accomplish.
It's like there's some that just don't really have. I don't know if it's that they're not good or if they just don't have any use cases. Like I always see, I think Saint Drax's chainsaw is usually really cheap.
Yeah, the
What is it?
Gabriel
The
sword,
lance, the pig
big
sticker.
sticker, Gabriel
Yeah.
sword. Yeah, there's a couple that are. It's mostly the weapons that seem to kind of fall by the wayside. I think Mika's even is kind of like has some niche
Um,
cases, but
I, I think I've seen Mika's used in a lot of like it's like the thing you get before your big item. So I don't think that one's too bad. I see people use it,
I
and
think
it's not like super cheap.
the problem though is the angelic weapon is the item you get before your big item. That might be an issue.
We still have so angelics have different rarities.
True.
So there's Mika's, and then it's like we have Marjorie's, but then we also have Patrons, and we have Liquid Holster. So you know, um, and there are stats on Mika's that may make it best in slot for one archetype over another. So
True.
that's something to consider.
Yeah.
While everyone can use it and benefit a lot, but then maybe they want for their end game item, they want like what's a really big one? Again, I'm not super familiar
Storm
with Fizz
Slayer would
because
be
I
a
haven't played in so long.
good one to look at.
Storm Slayer, okay. Back in the day, there was Aurelion's Fury. That was insane.
Aurelion, yeah,
You'd
that's
use
another one.
Mika's and then switch to Aurelion's when you could afford it, if you ever could. Um, Glock 22, maybe. I remember
Maybe
that was a
for
really big one.
gun user. Glock was really good.
So it's like I'm more talking about the angelics that are just like you get them and just not super enthusiastic.
You feel nothing. I had that happen to me in season 9. I think one hero level 121 was my first angelic, and this is blasting codexes with like Staff and Jord, for example. And my first angelic was the long saw, and then my second angelic was that one-handed Gabriel sword, and I was just like, I may as well not have dropped anything at all, because those two items are just, they might have like a very niche use case like very early on, but they definitely feel very right now in the meta.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. And you go to sell them on the market and they're like 100K. Um, yeah, I don't know. But I'm definitely going to be talking about that for season 11, and we'll see what we can do for a lot of that stuff. Uh, I mean, I don't know for sure, but I'm pretty sure Fuma agrees with me in that regard. If you get an angelic or unholy, it should always feel like always hype.
Yeah, that was I'm pretty confident saying he does feel that, because we talked a lot about it in season 9. He was very big on like it should never feel anything other than holy shit awesome when one of those drops, like ever. That's how it should feel. And that was part of like making them rarer, which is
Hmm.
something that happened moving into season 9 that a lot of people freaked out about. But then he started reworking a bunch of them, which he did. Like Madry's used to be one of the worst angelics in the game. Now it's like Progenesis belt, which is
Now
super
it's
sick.
really solid. Yeah,
Yeah,
it's
super
pretty
cool.
freaking good, and it's interesting too.
Yeah, it's a
That's the kind of
different
stuff
item.
I'd like to see because that's exciting.
Yeah, more interesting items with interesting effects that kind of change
Yeah,
core
especially
aspects of that.
angelics like should be a lot more than like a stat stick.
Someone mentioned a angelic necklace with 20, like 20 or some crazy light radius on it. That would be
The
interesting.
angelic amulet. I don't
Every
know.
everyone's been asking about
I'm
angelic
gonna
amulet.
stay quiet on this, but I don't know what Kevin would want me to talk about regarding that.
Fair,
So I'm
fair.
gonna stay quiet here.
Oh goodness. All right, well, I think I've had you for almost 4 hours now.
Yeah, man, we probably better cut it off because if we keep going, I really don't mind just sitting here and talking for hours.
You know I'm the same way. So, but I think we got plenty of good conversation. Honestly, this has been great. I've enjoyed this. I think everybody's
Yeah,
enjoyed this.
don't want to drag it on.
I really appreciate you doing this. This was I know you've got a lot going
It
on.
was a good time.
Yeah, this has been fun. I hope to do it again in the future. Actually, I'd love to have you on again to talk more about the game and all sorts of stuff.
Hmm.
I would love that more than anything. 'Cause it's been a very productive, very fun conversation.
Yeah, man, it's been awesome. It's always a pleasure talking to you. And I mean, anyone can talk to me in the Discord if you just add me. I mean, don't be too excessive over it because I get a lot, and don't feel offended if I don't respond because I can't really get to everyone. But yeah, if you want to talk to me, I'm open to it. I don't know
Cool.
how long I will be able to do that. You know what I mean? Because if too many people start talking to me, it's going to be impossible for me to
Yeah,
do anything.
game grows more people have access, more people talking to you. Yeah,
Mhm.
it makes sense. Makes sense. Someone just said, "We love you, Drew. Keep mogging Sleepy's voice." All right, all right. So that's
I'm
there's
I'm a I'm a contrabass. I don't know if you're familiar with that. It's like a super low bass used in choir.
I'm a little familiar with that from a friend I had in choir.
People it's pretty rare to meet a natural bass. I think you are a natural bass. I don't have perfect pitch, so I can't really tell. Um, this stuff is really interesting to me. Again, I'm going off on a tangent. So usually when people hear a bass, they freak out, and then when they hear a contrabass, it's like an octave lower than the bass, and so you know you get really funny reactions. Sometimes I feel like I'm part of the circus in public.
Because people just react to your voice. Yeah,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
yeah. I'm a bit familiar with that. It's fun. I usually talk in a little higher inflection than I actually sound, because how I grew up in my childhood. So like I speak in a So if like I've just woken up, people are like, "What the hell? Like, who are you?" Because I speak in a higher inflection to enunciate better. Because I always got accused of mumbling when I was younger, all the time. So I naturally developed a higher tone than I actually speak in, which you can hear in the way I inflect things. But I can drop my voice a lot lower, especially if I'm not thinking about conversing with somebody.
Yeah, it's actually kind of annoying for me because when I speak, my I feel my skull vibrate. I used to
Oh,
think I could
it,
vibrate objects
you're the same as me.
by using my voice, but I realized I was actually just vibrating my eyeballs.
The same as me. It's one of the reasons I kind of learned to talk in the higher inflection upon the base of my voice because it gives me a headache after like an hour or two of talking at like my normal low volume, and that just like kills me because it's too much. Deep voice curse is
I
very
wonder,
real.
sometimes it makes you feel like, especially if you talk online, it makes you feel like you get as much attention as a girl. Like if you try to go play like um, some online game like Half Life or whatever, and people hear you talking, it's like, yeah, they you become a celebrity.
Uh, yeah, I've experienced that a lot. Experienced that many times I've talked online. Luckily, it's turned to my advantage. Everyone in chat says they love you. They're very happy you came on.
I love them.
That,
I love
so
everyone.
several of them are saying we hope to see you back soon again for more
We'll
time, more
see. I mean, I
fun.
don't mind hopping on anytime. I play the game too, so
Yeah, if you guys
I'm
wanna,
sure
you might
people will
catch
see
Drew in a
me in
public channel.
game.
Yeah. You guys might see him in a
Yeah, I
public
mean, if
channel in
you
the
see me in
herosiege
the
Discord.
Discord, feel free to hop in. Could probably even hop in my game. Although I will be playing, if I have time to play, I will be playing probably the first few days with my close friends, if I could play.
Okay, well now you have like an entire chat where the people that are gonna try to find you and join your game. So,
I'm completely fine with that. I love it.
all right. Well, I appreciate you coming on. It's been a pleasure. I hope you have a wonderful rest of your night, and I will probably chat with you soon about maybe doing this again another time after season launch.
Sounds good, man. I look forward to it.
All right. Have a wonderful night, friend.
You too. We'll see you.
Bye. Ah, hello everyone.